Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your monthly episode of The Gimmick. A very big, this is a whole enchilada one. We're talking about two pay-per-views. We're doing a preview of one, free agency. Other stuff's going to come up. I am, as usual, the Canadian Night Wearer, and I'm joined from somewhere. David is somewhere trying to get himself canceled here, where he's joined from.
Live from Liv's Cheek. That might have been the crowning moment of that pay-per-view for me, or at least
Yeah.
top two.
Yeah, no. And then we're on the other side. You finally changed. You finally changed your nickname. It's no longer the number one babyface Damian Priest fan. What happened to it? You know.
I just needed to do a new one.
Mhm.
I was thinking of a good one. It was either this or I want the ref cam back.
Oh, the ref cam, but yes, Rhea's incredible live show charisma, and I will say to start off the show just to concede, I'll see what happens after, and maybe we're gonna start with that matchup because the nicknames, everything like that. I will concede that I think Damian as a babyface is finally working now. I think the crowd's into him. I think what the good switch is though, him being angry, Damian's better than him being like, cool, like, come on, dog. What do you want to talk about? Like him being like, I'm gonna destroy you like that. This has been way better. So I still reserve the right for judgment, no pun intended, when we get out of the Judgment Day feud, because the next feud, I don't know if you'll have like the vigor and be mad at somebody. If he goes back to cool, calm, like Razor Ramon, it's like, no, you don't have that. But this Damien, and he can still be that a little bit, but like the stuff like him like walking behind and living Dom just being stone faced, like this is more like Punishment Martinez like he was back in the day. And this is I will concede that it is working out. I had to concede twice because I did that,
It
and
only
then
took like 5 months.
it only took like 5 months and him lose. But sometimes it's he lost the title, and sometimes that's what you're supposed to do when you lose. When you lose, that's the best way to get over. Look at why do you think Brian Danielson likes to lose so much? You know, he's always staying over. You know, but we'll talk about that. But no, that's two concedes because I also had to concede because I think it was like months ago. I told Emily, I'm like, I don't know if Sabrina Carpenter is going to be a big thing. And here she is. Like I saw something where it's like she is first time ever someone in the UK in the Billboard charts had the 1, 2, 3 song. I'm like, okay, I give up.
I think in Apple
Yeah.
Music, I probably still have like whatever her first album was from like 10 years ago. Because I was
Mhm.
a big Disney Channel fan.
Right?
And I used
Yeah,
to
that was
like
your
her
era.
songs. So I think I was probably somewhere on like an iPod Touch. I have like her first album like bought.
Yeah, so no, I'm happy to concede, but what I don't want to concede is the draft. So before, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna talk about all of Bash at Berlin first. So we'll review that show, talk a little Bad Blood, talk some free agency, and talk probably Uncle Howdy because I want to talk about some of that, and then we'll get into the AEW All In and All Out stuff, and if there's anything else in the middle. So S-Bubs, because this gives me time to tweet out the show links. How is the draft going? It was obviously lots of defense because how many title matches we have? W title, tag title, world title, and
That's it.
that's it. Yeah,
There's two Drew and Punk and Liv and Rhea.
which like I know we're gonna get there before the draft because I feel like I've seen people tweet out, and I think people are right. Like okay, you got Damian Finn at Bad Blood, Finn or Liv and Rhea, and then Punk and Drew, and then I imagine. So they already said Braun, right? He's defending the IC title. Then some for Cody. When is LA Knight going to get on a pay per view with the US title? Because I don't think he'll be on Bad Blood then, because they're sticking with this 5 match thing, and unless Cody's taking, well, he's not taking
I
a
think
week
if
off.
like
No.
AJ challenges for the U.S. title, that could get on a pay per view because they had one at WrestleMania, one just on SmackDown, and then they could have another match.
Yeah, so I was just watching it yesterday. I was like, right, when is? Because I can't remember when it was. Some video package LA Knight was in there. I was like, oh right, he should, like I feel like he should get a
He was on like the Bad Blood like commercial. They
okay,
added him and Uncle Howdy since like the
right.
old one.
So maybe they'll expand the card a little bit, but hopefully they get him on there. I don't want to be a situation where they're just getting it on pay per views because Paul had the title, you know, because now it's like, oh, LA Knight has, but like this guy is still getting big pops and
Nick
everything.
said LA Knight already defended it more times than Logan Paul did in 273 days in 2 weeks because he defended it on 2 weeks on SmackDown.
Oh right, yeah, and nice little match there at Logo. So yeah, what is the draft looking like there, S Bubs?
It's getting bad for me here because I have to zoom out to like 60% to see everything. And I'm about to get to like the end of this page, so I have to add more columns. So I'm gonna like barely be able to see like the names. But so far I haven't completely messed up. This week I almost like ruined it. I put stuff in the wrong place, but then I caught myself and then I fixed it. But it's getting to the point where I can like barely read these numbers because it's so zoomed out. I don't know what to do.
You could always like do like take the points and then just do a new document and then just carry
That's what
over
I
the
think I'm gonna
points.
do. Just
Yeah,
like copy that
for your
and
sanity.
then, yeah. But we are. This would be the end of week 22 here,
Okay.
and okay, I can start with. I'll start with mine. So I'm at for main points. I'm at 283. But really, my bonus points are like what's giving me the win here, because I've gone the plus 20 on every single pay per view, because I have someone in every main event. Like even if it's not Cody, I have Randy Orton or
Oh my
Drew. Or,
God, you in these
so right
main
now
events.
I'm at 260 bonus points also. And then I have 10 jobber points for Tozawa. Never won,
Nice.
so that's all plus twos. So I have a
Nice.
total of 533 points.
Ooh.
Then Travis is at 333 normal points.
I'm winning that normal point bracket.
But you have 125 bonus points.
Okay, I got some catching
and
up to do.
6 jobber points for Elton Prince.
All right, Rhea, it's time. It's time to get that main event with Liv at Bad Blood. You know, it's let's do it. So.
And then, oh, and you have a total of 466 points.
Okay.
And then David is at 225 normal points with 145 bonus
Okay.
points.
Because they won't put LA Knight on pay-per-view.
Nope.
You got it for Gunther. And for
Right, he'll
who
get
else?
you some good stuff at least until. Honestly, I think he's gonna be fine with you until Mania because I know everyone keeps.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you guys about that after, but booking like Cena, that's where Cena will beat him. But I don't think, if even if he loses it, I don't think he'll lose it till Mania till our next season. So I think you're good. So
And then you also have 10 points for Xavier Woods, but he's actually won a few matches, so I think you'd probably have more if he lost more. But
Yeah.
and you have a total of 380 points, and you also got your first points and main event points for Uncle Howdy. This
good.
week.
he's showing up. He's showing
And
up.
I can say how many points we got this week if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Like counting the, I got 13 points total. The one who gave you the most was Cody defending the title.
hmm
Travis got 24 points this week because you had Jade winning the title, and then Nia Jax defended it in a stipulation match,
Oh,
which is
the
also more
stips.
points. Yeah. And then David had 28 points this week
Oh,
because you had Gunther defending the title, Bianca winning the title, and LA Knight defending his title.
okay. So he's not getting any of those pay-per-view points. Well, you got a lot of title
No,
defense.
well,
going
well,
on
I got
right now.
20 points there for Gunther. 20
Yeah.
bonus points.
Yeah, Gunther's gonna be good for a while. I don't know next time he'll like main event to pay-per-view, but I think he's gonna main event lots of Raws and
Yeah.
stuff, so he'll be fine there. So, well, there we go. SBUB's still in a firm lead, but we're getting into the season. We still got lots of, we're on the way to Rumble in a couple months, and then Chamber and everything. So that'll be a good time. So yeah, let's start with we'll start with the mixed tag because you guys got the names, and I'm gonna throw it S Bubs because I feel like S Bubs every week I see you on Twitter somewhere getting annoyed with people and they're being pushed too hard and everything like that, which is like it's so funny because like
That's the only like wrestling argument I like reply to people with. Like I see a lot of dumb stuff, but I just always reply to those.
Yeah, no, it's funny because that was a couple weeks ago when I saw, I think because like I have an algorithm, but like I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be. But when I saw you respond that, I didn't even know that was a narrative, and I get it because people have fans and stands or anything like that. But I didn't even know that was that's just. So if people don't know, the narrative people were mad was okay. Rhea and Damien were being booked too strong, but I was like, well, I thought that was just like an obvious point in the story where we're gonna go. They're the two, like Rhea's the one of the stronger women on the women's division, Damien, very big guy, and then you have take out Finn, who's not even the greatest elite, but still, let's just say, okay, he's an elite guy, right? You have Dom, Carlito, and JD, who have all been booked to be like losers all around times. Like Dom, like cheats. Carlito, like I should have picked Carlito in a loser squad because he loses all the time. And then JD, who is current tag champion, but still, anytime someone has to take a bump in that group, it's JD. So I was surprised by that. I was like, this is the story. What I was surprised was I actually thought Judgment Day was going to get the win yesterday, and I'm not going to say I'm in the crowd of, oh, they're too strong, but I think they definitely like
Well, you saw on the SmackDown before Vash and Berlin in a dark match. Damien just completely squashed Dominic in like 1 minute. Like the dark match, he just like threw him against the ropes, like powerbomb chokeslam, and it was over.
I've been seeing that, and that sucks because in the 2 weeks I'm going. Well, ask us Buzz Buzz Live Raw in the middle of the pay-per-view section too, but we're going to the SmackDown, the 13th, like the season premiere one, and I've been seeing those dark matches. I'm like, I really hope that's not the dark match I get.
To be fair, that crowd, it was that, and then they got Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther.
Okay, that's
for
fine.
For the title. And I saw in Bash in Berlin, Gunther's chest, like when they were announcing him, it was completely already like torn up because he literally had a match with Dragunov like on the day before, and the whole like Germany, like Europe tour, like all the main events were Dragunov.
I'd forgot about that, so I was like, is that still the effects of like that Damian Priest match? Like,
because
my boy
Scar, that one
with
Finn before SummerSlam, and that's why it's just, so I guess they're just having to have these crazy matches like the week of the pay-per-view.
His chest has never been the same. It just looks that way. But so we'll see what I get dark match. I'm hoping if Cody doesn't wrestle, I'd like him to be the dark match. But I was surprised that they beat Judgment Day, and I think in the fashion, because they had the entire Judgment Day out there. They're cheating, throwing the rule book, but they still got the win. So I don't know, because David asked this question, like, what happens to Judgment Day next? And I really think based on last night, it's okay. They lose at Bad Blood, and then they probably lose those tag titles. And I don't really know. I was kind of hoping this would heat Finn back up, but I still think they should have maybe got that win last night by 5 versus 2. That doesn't make Rhea or Dom or Damien look bad. Like, it's like there's 3 other people helping you. But Dave, what did you think about last night? The Terror Twins getting the win. You know.
So just given the status of Dom, like not including Liv, who is good in her own right, but just status of Dom, it kind of makes the 5-on-2 a little bit more believable because, like, 2-on-2, they should absolutely destroy them. So 5-on-2 makes a little bit more believable with that. I'm okay with the way that they've been booked recently, mainly because, again, you've got a strong big man who you know that they want to push. You got to keep Rhea looking dominant. Her whole character is her dominance. So they need to be strong in this aspect. The finishing of that match with it finished with the way that Rhea was manhandling Liv was the best way to finish that. Don't go for the pin against Dom. That's too easy. Continue the story with Liv. Continue the show of strength for Rhea. So overall, it was a good match. It was at times paint by numbers, but it was paint by numbers in a good way. Like, it was still enjoyable. It was like, all right, I see these beats happening, but it was still, I'm enjoying this.
It's a fun, I won't say junk food match because that makes it sound lower, but it kind of is where you can just have fun with it the whole time. And it was a good break in between because they had, that was right before the main and then right in between, what was before? Punk and Drew, which is like, you need like a second to relax. I even remember after Cody and KO, when the women for the tags made their entrances, the crowd was hot all night, but that was like the most quiet they were. Like, they still even needed a breather at that point. But S-Bubs, you happy? Damian Rhea looking super strong, you know?
I thought I wanted them to win, but I did think they were going to lose, like, especially, I forget what Damian kicked out of or something. I don't know. Someone was distracting the ref, and it looked like, oh, it's over, and then he kicked out. But,
the frog splash? The 619 into the frog splash?
Maybe, yeah.
I think it was that. But, yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It was really good. I don't know if it's Probably like I don't know if I'd say like I'd say probably my favorite one. Like if I rewatched any of these matches, I would probably rewatch that one, just because I thought it was a lot of fun and the crowd was just like way into it.
Hmm.
Uh, what else? Yeah, for the where it goes from here. Well, they're definitely having the match at Bad Blood.
Yeah, because Rhea got that
Um,
pin, right? So that's the
mhm.
automatic. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, it's over. And again, I was on the bandwagon of saving it till Mania, but I don't think they're doing that. I
So
think
so
they're
far
gonna
the live stand theory is that Raquel is returning at Hell in a Cell and she's gonna
pull
destroy
Kane.
Rhea and then
It's gotta
yeah
be Raquel. It's
yeah
gotta be
and then
Raquel.
that's how Liv's gonna retain.
I would
That's the live
love
stand
that.
theory.
I would love because because I think my whole portion is
And then after that their theory is that goes into a War Games match with like Io and Kyrie on Rhea's team against
yeah.
like Liv and like I guess the Pure Fusion Collective or something. I don't know.
See, oh, it's terrible name, terrible name. They should, whoever threw that out. No, we're not doing that. That like, it sounds like some weird shoe line or something like that. Like, no, like get it out of here. See, I would be completely fine because I've said this before, where it might happen at Bad Blood, but I feel like Rhea finally hitting the riptide on Dom. WrestleMania is to me that's the moment. Like you can do it on a Raw, a big Raw. You could do the Netflix Raw. You could do it at Bad Blood. It'll be a big moment, but a moment that would be like you'll see on highlight reels for years to come and all the time. Like that's where I think you should do it. If they don't do it, I think it'll just be Hell in a Cell. She'll do it to Dom like through a table at Hell in a Cell. And, okay, good moment. But I'm not saying I'm a live stand, but I'm supporting the live stand theory because I just, as we've talked about before, I don't know who else Rhea wrestles really at WrestleMania. It's not Bianca. We've said this before. I think it's Bianca and Jade, right? So it's like we can't do Charlotte again thrice in a lifetime. We can because it'd be great, but like I don't think so. I do think
I
everyone
do
is
think
right with
it
Stratton,
probably
the
is
theory.
yeah, the Charlotte
Yes.
Flair Tiffany Stratton. I feel
Yes.
like it's very obvious. I feel like where it's going there.
Yeah. And that's going to
Especially
be a banger.
with
That's
the
going to be
whole
great.
queen thing, like
Hmm.
if Tiffany beats Nia and then like she's the real queen of the ring.
Yeah. And then you get the bow down and the terrible
Yeah.
version of her theme now that I hate. I love the original theme, but that's why for me it's just if Rhea just beats Liv, I think she'll hold the title at WrestleMania. And unless they have something in their back pocket, I feel like it's just she's gonna verse somebody, and it'll be like in the middle of the card, not really that special. Like maybe a good match, but kind of like the year Becky versus Shayna, where it's like, well, we really have nothing for Becky to do, and we're gonna have her versus Shayna. Shayna's gonna bite her. That's like the big. I'm not sure if you've seen this S Bubs where
I
Shayna
haven't seen it.
that was how they set up the angle was they were having some sort of tag match and they had Shayna pull like a Mike Tyson and she bit Becky on the neck and they did like a bunch of fake blood and like she was holding it and yeah, and then Becky just beat her. Becky was, I guess, politic. She wanted to lose to Shayna, but they're like nah, like so that's where I just, if Rhea wins, I think she'll just have maybe it'll be even EO, but I just don't think there'll be anything big for her to do. So I feel like if you chase and you keep that going for a while, there's still EO, there's still some other people Liv can have some few matches with, like you said, War Games. Like I'm on that bandwagon of save it all to Mania, the win, the Dom finish, everything, and then the next night, they shoot the Raw after, Liv dumps Dom. That like get that huge pop from the Raw after Mania, or vice versa, maybe I don't know, but I'm on that bandwagon, but I could easily just see Rhea again. David, where are you on right now for obviously Bad Blood? That's the way it's going. But who do you think's going to win? We're 2 months out, so it's an early prediction, but we're doing it.
I think that you keep Liv finding a way to win, continue that a little bit longer until you can get somebody legitimate lined up as the next opponent for Rhea. Like you don't have anyone after Liv, so you got to start building someone up somewhere else in order to have that person. Until then, have some way for Liv to get the win. Of course, it's going to be by some sort of shenanigans, but I am all for Raquel Rodriguez coming down and doing the Kane rip the door off spot. Like,
Yeah.
yes, please. Let her
Yeah.
show off her strength. Let her show off that
Did
she's
you guys
back.
see that like the leaked rehearsal photos for Raw that went
Yeah.
around like a few days? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one was like at the Texas Raw they had a few weeks ago, and Raquel's in one of those.
Oh,
photos.
okay.
She's like talking to somebody in the
Good.
production team.
No, and to me, like it makes sense. Right before they left, pretty much like Liv and Raquel before they got injured were they. It was Liv that got injured, right? And they were a tag team. And then when Liv got back, Raquel got injured, or she had her conditioning thing going on. So that makes sense. And also, you trace back to NXT, the person that beat Rhea was Raquel. So it's just like you have all this history you can go to. It makes sense. So I hope that's the route they're going. I think that gives you tons of steam. And I think Triple H and all of them all been about, oh, we're telling the long stories, right? Like that's a good long term. That's almost a year story, pretty much. Like Liv attacked Rhea, what, a couple weeks after WrestleMania? So that's like,
It was the Raw after
yeah,
WrestleMania.
there you go. So it's like that's pretty much a year story right there. And I think that's the way to go. So I hope they do that. Like to me, that's a great women's card. You got what is it, Charlotte and Tiffany, and then you got Rhea and Liv, and then you got Jane Bianca, and then maybe that's where they introduce like the Intercontinental for the women's at Mania. Maybe they do like a big
I was gonna
squat, like
say, I feel
you
like
know,
Io's definitely on that card somewhere.
and Bailey too, right? That's thing. So that's why I feel like do like a 6-woman ladder match, 6-woman gauntlet
Reformed
match.
damage control the ass
Yeah,
faces.
yeah, you could have a moment too where it comes down to Bailey and Io, and there's like that. Oh, remember last year at Mania, and the crowd gets excited. Like I think you could do. You could. I don't think it has to be a ladder match, but that's where I think they should do it. So
Yeah.
we started off the show with Cody and KO. KO did not turn. I'm not sure. Honestly, where they're going, if they're just going to end it here or they're going to make it go a little longer. I could see both versions because they had KO act a little like meh at the end, but at the end of the day, they still walk back in arms and everything. So I don't know. I could see either way. I'm fine with it. And I personally like it. I've seen a lot of people give it crap of like, oh, he wouldn't give a power bomb to him. It's a championship. Like, it's not believable. But it's like, to me, it's
He
like,
was acting like the power bomb was the Tiger
Tiger Driver, yeah. But like that's to me, it's a point where people are like, oh well, you gotta win the championship. It's like, yeah, but I buy in kayfabe. There's a difference of beating your friend or hurting your friend, and he didn't
Yeah.
want to hurt his friend yet. But honestly, I thought it was a really good match. The crowd was fired up. I love that they were chanting for them both. I thought they had really good they had good chemistry. It's not like a 5-star, but it's one of these things that I thought, okay, in a rematch they actually could have that 5-star, especially if they heat KO up to be like old, fight kill Kevin Kill sort of deal. So I thought it was a really good match. I thought they had really good chemistry, and I would be down for more of that. So I really have no negatives. I think maybe it was just like I said, yeah, other than I am with people that I'm tired of the 4 crossroads. I like he took 4 to beat KO. KO is not the final boss. Like 1 or 2 would have been sufficient, but I thought it was a really good match. So I think I'd have it like in the 4-star, 4.25 range, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So when it comes to the power bomb, to me that's one of those I'm aiming to hurt you type moves, the way that Kevin Owens does it. From his introduction against Sammy in NXT, it's always been a I want to hurt you type deal. So I could understand the whole I'm wrestling you, I want to win, but I don't want to hurt you. Hence the whole thing with, him and Cody with the back and forth, and Cody basically telling him like, no, go for it. Like, treat me like you would any opponent. And then Kevin Owens switching up at that point and going a little bit harder at that point because he's like, all right, you gave me the free for all. Let's do this. Mm-hmm. So, but other than that, yeah, I got the vibes that they were just having a good back and forth. It was a good showcase for Kevin Owens. I don't think that they continue down this championship race for Kevin Owens after this. I think he was just a holdover as the new bloodline continued to re-get healthy and not oversaturate that with bloodline after bloodline after bloodline after bloodline match. We got to give you a break in this. There might be one more break beforehand. Let Jacob Fatu's leg get a little bit better before you start down that road. I mean, all in all, I thought the match was a good 3.5, 4-star match. Like, that's kind of where I place it. It was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. It had some good story beats to it. And I was very much shocked that they didn't do too many shenanigans in the match. They just had a good, solid match. But I don't think that they continue down this championship road very much longer. They could circle back to it later. If they decide to turn Kevin fully heel after the conclusion of some things, then he can come back and say, hey, I held back before. I won't hold back this time, but I don't think they do it immediately.
Yeah, kind of like what they did with AJ, right? They had AJ, he went away for a while. They did the Logan Paul match, and then AJ again, and because I think that could make sense, even though I don't know. Because I know people keep booking the War Games match and putting Cody on Roman's team. I don't know if that's gonna. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen. I'm not 100% on that yet. I'm like a 50-50. I can see the pros and cons, but that could be a good Survivor Series match potentially. It's in Canada, so that could be a good crowd for KO. Maybe they don't want that though, the same way they didn't want Cody to go against certain other people in their hometown. So I don't know, but again, I don't think people are booing Cody. They might cheer the other guy, but that whole theory that Cody's going to get turned on, where how many months remaining, and we're still doing all right. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but I think we're still in the honeymoon phase, you know. So
Yeah.
what about you, S Bubs?
Yeah, I agree with David. For me, it was like a 3.5 type match. Like, I thought it was a good, solid match, but never really went to like the next gear, I'd say. But I guess that makes sense, especially if they are gonna do like a second match that's more like intense. I think this is actually, I saw someone put the stats. This is Cody's shortest like title defense so far on like
Oh,
a
okay.
pay-per-view. It was like 23 minutes, I think. So yeah, but I enjoyed it. Like Kevin is great. So I don't think he and Cody like would have a bad match ever.
No.
Really. But
I just saw your tweet promoting the show. Mina has incredible live show charisma. What is Dave doing? It's just so funny. Meltzer will go on a streak of 5 days in a row of tweeting nothing but business stats, and then he'll just have some weird tweet like that where it's like, and I agree with him, but not in the sense that he used that tweet. But yeah, I'm
all I
like
saw
Mina.
people yesterday during Bash in Berlin, like when like all during all the edges, like Bianca Belair has incredible live show charisma here.
It's so good. You know, I do agree. Like, I didn't know much about Mina Shakira, and like, I'm becoming a fan. I really hope we'll get to the AEW portion, but I hope that they pull her and May to have a match. I think there's tons of stuff there. But so I have to ask you guys this. So now we got, I guess, Solo and Cody next. And I said this in the Discord yesterday, but I'm just like, I don't understand what the kayfabe reason of why he can just say, I got next. Like, I wish why couldn't they just even do a Fatal 4 on SmackDown, have Solo win it? I'll get that. I have the same issue with AEW later on, Jack Perry. Like, I just don't get why give him something. And I really hope it's not just the same thing of, it's him and Cody, and then Roman or Jimmy interferes this time, you know?
I was gonna say, I have a feeling like, especially since he was promoted for it and then like taken off of it, I feel like you could get like Cody versus Solo on like the SmackDown USA premiere.
Oh
with,
no!
like,
Don't give me
Roman
that!
saving
Don't
him.
give me that! Don't.
But
that's
I
the
feel
show
like-
I'm going
'cause
to.
I feel like they wouldn't promote like, especially like promote ahead, put Roman on that one specifically.
Yeah.
Just to like take him off, and then because I guess they wanted to be a surprise, I guess.
Right? Yeah, because he was there and he's off. Yeah, because some people thought it was the
Because they
funeral
had
thing, but
promoted
I
like the
you know.
next few shows, and
Yeah.
then that one ahead, and then they took him off of that one ahead.
Yeah, but is he still promoted for those two before? I don't think so anymore, right? Because
Well, no, he was promoted for like the two after SummerSlam, which were the ones he was at.
Okay, that's the two. Okay,
Yeah,
so he
and
was
then
there.
he
Yeah.
wasn't for the rest of them.
See, honestly, I am fine with that on a SmackDown. Like, it is kind of rinse and repeat, but it makes sense. Like, on a pay-per-view, I don't want that again, and maybe... But Bad Blood's in Cody's hometown, right? Is it in Georgia? Yeah, or not my
whatever
hometown, but just
in
like his
Georgia,
home
yeah.
state. So it's just like, he's got to be... There's no way he's going to not wrestle, though, right? So it's just like...
I mean, yeah, he's like on all the advertisements there, so he's definitely having a match, but I don't
So
know against who.
that's
mean,
where I
it's
wonder...
only
yeah.
you guys said 2 months away. It's really only 1 month away because it's like that.
True,
It's
yeah.
like on October.
We're in September
5th,
now.
And then yesterday was
Yeah,
like,
October
it was like
5th.
the 31st. So I think
Yeah.
it's still the same amount of time, maybe a little bit more, like maybe 1 week more than usual. But
Is that where we could get... I don't know if he'd wrestle, but is that where you could get Cody and Roman versus Solo and Jacob? You know, people keep booking that. I think if Cody ends
That
up in the
could
War
be
Games,
it.
they might start it, and you can play the whole Bad Blood thing. And Cody's been talking about Roman a lot. Every presser, I know he gets asked, but like he's been bringing that up a lot. So I feel like they are gonna. I just don't know who else other than do they just rush KO? Like we said, maybe not, but do they just have KO in the middle of that month? He gets mad and he turns for some reason. They just, okay, whip it, go to Bad Blood. Like, I just don't know who else there would be for Cody to do if he's not doing like some sort of specialty match with the tag team or if he's just versing KO. I don't know, unless they save Solo, which I don't want. So.
Only way I can see them do the KO turn so fast is if it's a situation where it is brought on by someone else. So someone starts egging on, you haven't had a real opponent, you haven't had, and he's like, I just wrestled with KO, and they're like, that's nobody. He took it easy on you. You gave him the match. He couldn't win anyway. Things like that.
Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
That promotes
Right.
KO to be like, okay, I will show you the real KO then. Let's run this back. Like, that's the only way that I can really see them rushing the return on
That's
that.
where the Grayson Waller Austin Theory match is happening at Bad Blood for
In Hell in the Cell,
Atlanta,
main event.
A-Town Down.
Yeah. Main event. It's gonna be Cody versus Grayson versus Theory. They're gonna do a triple threat. I think that's finally happening. Are you gonna become the number one babyface Austin Theory fan? That's your face. See, that's one. Damien, he proved me wrong. I will stand by that. I still don't think the Theory thing is gonna work because I just don't think Theory's gonna work at all, really, other than being like a solid hand type of guy. But I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. So we'll see what happens. There's lots of stuff that could go down. Is there anybody, if it's not Solo and it's not KO, is there anyone on the SmackDown roster and it's not a tag team match? I don't know. Like, they could always throw Santos in there, but he just lost to LA Knight, so it's like, you can't do that. We literally all said it'll probably be Santos and then somebody else next, and then, Mello soon. And so far it's that way. And this is where, because I've actually missed the last 2 weeks of SmackDown. Is the Carmelo Andrade thing an actual best of series, or are they just having that scoreboard
they
there
haven't
for?
said it, but
Okay.
this week they added the scoreboard on.
Okay, that's why I asked, and I was like, and we should be fine because best of 5s and 7s can be good stuff for guys to do and everything. But okay, I was wondering there. So. Okay, so we talked about the mixed tag, and then after that was Bianca and Jade versus the Unholy Union. I said this months ago, so I don't know much more I said. They shouldn't have lost them. I think it was great for Union to get the moment, so I do understand that. But I feel like it just was a bump in the road, and really Jade and Bianca didn't do much for that whole time. So just kind of felt like it didn't happen, because I remember too at the end of this match, Michael Cole's like, oh, what a great reign for the Unholy Union. It's like, what did they do? Like, they didn't really, they defended their tag titles, I think, once on Raw, and that was about it. But I just felt like they weren't even on TV that much. Like, I would have been fine if they had like a good little 2-month run and then lost, because I'm fine with little runs. But I just think we're back on the collision course. And this is a fun enough match. Like, as usual, Bianca sells the whole time. Jade gets the hot tag, and then they do their big power moves, and that's the end. So there is a formula to it. But like I said, it's Rumble. Someone eliminates somebody, tension arises, and here we go. But I think they should have been doing the same thing as they've been doing the whole time. So,
Yeah. It was a match. I mean, it served its purpose. It wasn't anything really great about it. Like you said, they should have never lost the tag team championships to begin with. It was a solid 3 for me, like out of 5 stars. Like, it wasn't anything to write home about. And then taking place right after Cody and Kevin, the opener, it was kind of in a weird position for it. And the fact that there weren't many title matches on this card, it was kind of telegraphed, hey, this is what's about to happen. Now, yes, Jade has looked substantially better than she has been. You can tell that she is definitely growing in a WWE ring. She's getting a lot more comfortable, and this is going to help set up that eventual Belair match when she's back at her peak. But other than that, it was a match.
and if you ask Jade, stop asking about AEW, press her. Which I do feel like I am with her. It's like, what more is there to ask her? And even the question is a weird way.
It
It's like,
wasn't really about AEW.
It wasn't,
was
but even
just
then, like, how's your life
guess-
been since then? But it's like, why even like? I don't know
Yeah,
why.
like, they
It's
could
weird
have
all
asked
around.
It just like, how's your like? Yeah, I don't know.
Since joining,
How's your
since
life
being on the
been
main
since
roster.
joining? Yeah.
How's life been? But like since leaving AEW, it's like, oh, it's been awful. I miss Tony. I just heard what Swerve got paid. I'm really bummed out. Like, what's she gonna say? But
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
Cody mentions AEW all the time on
I was gonna say
WWE
yeah,
TV. So
in the president before he was talking about like I don't know, they likes reading numbers like you did in AEW or
yeah,
whatever.
and he even mentioned his match with Dustin in AEW. He loved like there's always a place in his heart. With Jay, like that was just like a stepping stone for. Before we get too far, Pickens put in Logan Paul. I'm guessing you said for Cody. I would not want them to run that back because I'm not sure Pickens if you watched they did the Saudi match, and I don't know
I like that match. I thought it was good.
but I feel like wouldn't you be closer to run back him and Knight before you do him and Cody, like just storyline wise, because he like was playing up, he was like crying that he lost the U.S. title, and he's doing all this stuff on social media and everything like that, also pushing his dog in places. But other than that, like I just don't know, like I don't know what like other than if they do like this the classic, we're doing a battle royal, we're doing a Triple H's favorite tournaments, like 3 triple
I
threats, and
feel
then
like with a month out, we're getting a tournament in there. Some, I mean, we're all getting
we're already
IC
getting a Raw
title
tournament,
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. So
I guess that tournament is gonna because
it's over in 2 weeks.
You have yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess you have time to actually build like the opponent. I mean, it's gonna be Jay because Braun already pretty much said so.
Right, yeah. Because, yeah, it's Jay, which is, I'm kind of surprised it's not Dragunov, though, because I felt like they would have, I guess Braun's already beat him, but I just feel like that storyline's not exactly dovetailed yet. And I'm still bummed they never did him, Sammy, and Dragunov. Like, I still think that's like a really good matchup. The story was there for a triple threat. I still think that's what they should have done at Money in the Bank. Did the triple threat. Sammy gets the win there, and then Braun gets the win. But Sammy's getting stem celled up right now, so I guess he's
Yeah.
taking a little break. So, any thoughts on the take title match there? I suppose.
I enjoyed it. I mean, to have a different opinion, I'd say I do think it was good for them to lose the titles a little
Okay.
bit, because I don't think even like with there not being that many teams, I don't really know what Jaden Bianca would have really done in
That's
that
fair.
time. Like you have them beat a bunch of these teams, they lost the titles, then Alva and Isla kind of beat the same teams. And then
Yes.
Bianca and Jade win them back, so it's
Those
like
teams are just a
you
bunch of
kind of just
losers.
like yeah, you kind of just fill them because I don't know like if they had kept the titles, like what would they really have done? Probably just a lot of 6-mans with like Naomi.
Well, they got
'Cause
the pure whatever people,
yeah,
they got because
I actually
what was
did
the triple
like
threat again that they lost them? It
I
was
was there. It was Zoe and Shayna
right and Unholy,
versus
yeah,
yeah Unholy and Io and Kyrie.
yeah, and I guess they've already like for Jane Bianca they were already versus EO, and I guess like you could have done Unholy at the Scotland show, and then I guess you could have done Stark and Bane, but then now you would be like, hey, what's next for them? And even now we're like, because they're supposed to be on Raw, like what's next for them? And I guess
It's
I
number one contenders with Shayna and Zoe versus Io and Kyrie.
I feel like Shayna and Zoe should win that because I just feel like they again like they just
Or
changed
is
damage
it,
control.
who is it? No, is it? I'm trying to think of the teams now because I swear someone else has a match with like that faction now. I have
Okay.
to look at like the. Because I swear Zelina has a match with someone in there, but I don't know if it might be with against Sonya Deville.
It does suck because like all these teams other than like Unholy Union are just solo acts thrown together right now. Like even Damage
Yeah.
Control, they're a unit, but it's just like, hey, what 2 members aren't injured right now? They're the tag team, right? So it's just like that division again for only having 1 title, they still need to just really beef that up in the near future. It's great to have them, but we've always had this problem with the women's tag title division, and I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, who's healthy? Okay, you two, you're going out. You're representing Damage
Yeah.
Control today.
Yeah, who wants to team with Natalie this month? Or Natalia. I don't know why I call her Natalie, but Natalia and everything. So, let's see. So we had that, and then we had the strap match: CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I suppose I'm gonna start with you because I don't believe. Have you seen like a 4-corner strap match? I don't think you have, right? Until this
I've
point.
seen just like not a full one. I've seen like clips of different ones.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think I recognize the lights from like I think it was John Cena's U.S. title run. It was like him versus Rusev in
Rusev, right? I
Yeah.
but
forgot about
it was
that.
a Russian chain match, but it was the same rules.
Yes.
But this one was like that was like a prime Cena, like he's definitely the heel here because he was like hitting Rusev with an AA like on the stage against like against like the Titantron like
Yeah.
7 times, just like absolutely destroying him, and then he just like throws him in the ring and hits all the corners.
Yeah.
But I like this match. It was good. I think people said like the strap is good because you don't really have to get like that bloody with it, but you can just hit each other really hard with the strap to make the noise.
Yeah.
What else? I did think I was fine with the four corner rules. I think it worked. I mean, there's not really that much space between each corner, so it's not like they have to like drag it out really long. That it's like, oh, they can't really reach the corners. But I thought it worked for the feud, especially with stuff like Punk, like at first not really going for the corners just to like hit Drew more, which I thought was gonna be like, oh, he's gonna lose it now.
I
But
thought so too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but then once he hit Drew with like 5 GTSs, I thought it was pretty clear he was gonna win. And I was hoping that he would hit the corner and then go for the bracelet, but he got the bracelet first and then hit the
Yeah.
corner.
I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought he was going to go for it one more time, and Drew would pull him into Claymore him, and then he'd get the win there. And I thought it was still a good match. I think these two have good chemistry. I'm looking forward to next month when they have Cell, and that's like a whole because they've had both like even that's going to be gimmick matches, but even these like they've still not had that. Again, I'm not going to try to bitch and moan again. I still wish they had just that one-on-one match because first you had a special guest, and then you had the strap, which is like a whole different gimmick here too, where Hell in a Cell is going to be the closest I feel like we get to just a one-on-one match. Yeah, there's going to be some weapons, but that'll be like, okay, one-on-one, pin submission, go. So I'm really excited for that, and I think that could be I'm not going to say give me a 5-star, but I think you can at least get like a 4 point. Like I got high expectations for that, and so far they have good chemistry. I was kind of hoping Punk was going to lose because I want Punk to go into the Cell very, very desperate. But I think what they're going to do now is they had Punk do that interview after saying he's going to go for gold. So I think they're going to do like what Punk did to him, where they're going to have some sort of contenders match. And Punk's about to win, and Drew will screw him. So it's kind of like a full circle. Oh, you were about to get a title shot? Well, sorry. Or even then, I would be so down if they just did a random Raw main event and said, hey, we're doing Gunther and Punk. Just like boost a rating, and then Drew, screws him because then you can kind of run that back down the line. Like, if it's not Cena, I even thought you could actually do Punk because we've always talked about Punk.
If you have Drew interfere in like a Punk Gunther match, that can set up like the Gunther Drew match.
Yes.
Because Gunther doesn't like losing.
I don't need your help.
Like,
I don't need no
yeah.
excuses. Yeah, exactly. Because that whole and then that leaves stuff for Drew and Gunther, leaves stuff for Gunther and Punk, which I thought about today. I'm like, I could see Gunther and Punk main eventing at night one. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but with them, if they want to give Punk his WrestleMania main event, it ain't gonna happen with Seth because that's just gonna be a grudge match, and who knows what Seth's doing. So I could see that happening and just Gunther winning. There's a chance. I don't think so, but I'm just saying there's a chance it could because I just don't know. Maybe there's like a triple threat scenario with him, Seth, and Gunther, but I still don't know about that. But no, I thought this was a good match. The strap match is like an elevated version of the ladder where when you have mainstream people watch with you and they go, why don't they just climb the ladder? Same thing with the strap. It's like Punk was trying his best at the end. He's like limping away, but it's like just do like a fucking somersault and you're there, dude. Like it's very exaggerated. So it's tough for me.
I like this strategy of hitting the corners while Drew was carrying him.
Yes, that was good. They pulled that. Yeah, I think they did that in the Shad and JT. I'm not sure if you know who Crime Time is, S-Bubs. But when they broke up, they had a strap match.
That was in that was from the CM Punk and Umaga.
Oh, he did it there too. Yeah, I haven't watched it. Yeah, I haven't watched that.
Samoan strap match.
The only strap match, and they changed it because I think it was. Dave, was it a strap match or was it technically like it was JBL versus Eddie, and I thought they named it something else. Was it a cowbell or something? It was something JBL America gimmick related.
It was
I
a
like the
Texas
video,
something or other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the video package they did for this draft match because I think Cole read through
Texas
like,
Bull Rope
all
match.
the names. Yeah.
Right. A Texas Bull Rope match. That for me is still my favorite. That has one of the best finishes ever where they all were touching the corners and Eddie jumped over JBL to hit it and he touched the corner and he won for a minute and then they stopped and replayed it and JBL's shoulder touched. It was masterfully done. That's still my favorite. And JBL and Eddie just actually had like great chemistry. Like they were best babyface and heel together. But so yeah, that's always gonna be the peak for me. But this was good. But like I said, I'm still waiting for that one-on-one. This would be like a 3.5 for me. I thought they were gonna go a little harder with the blood. It's almost like Punk wanted to because he did bleed, but it just didn't gush the way he wanted.
I think that might have been like a busted open or like. I didn't think the blood was really like on purpose there. Especially
Yeah,
since it didn't
I
really
agree.
go much else. Yeah.
But I was like, Dave, when I saw the white trunks and I thought the strap. So, like I said, I still wish it was like a dog collar. I think you could have like had more fun with that with Punkisms. He's like, and this is where again I will say that even though they had the
I feel
breakup,
like under the Hell in a Cell he could have like a Larry the dog collar.
just Larry, so you can use it, and just like they broke up, but Tony Khan and CM Punk are just like made for each other because a year ago they're still taking shots at each other. Last presser, Tony's like, well, last year, really tough year for us, but just, why? It's all better now. And then here's Punk, Ultimate Troll, wearing his all-out gear a year later. Like, that's why it's like they're both little internet marks at heart. And I love it. I love that. It's fine with me, but yeah, that's where we go.
I sent in the Discord CM Punk's comments about him and AJ where she told me, and anytime it involved Larry, she told me, make sure you hurt them. Just like in the past, when anyone messes with my dog, I hurt them. Yes.
Yeah, so it's still we're always gonna suffer the effect until fucking
I saw a tweet like it was at all in from someone who was there. It's like I would trade being able to see Bryan Danielson win the title live for a chance to stand outside Punk's locker room at All Out 2022.
Absolutely, because that's gonna go down as one of the great, and that's what does suck about them not being the same company. Is like, with maybe it'll happen years down the line, but like that happened with Brett and Sean, and then eventually they got together and they got to retell the whole story. Right? They did a whole DVD, Brett versus Sean.
There's going to be a documentary on this one day, and I'm here for it.
There is, yeah. It's gonna be like decades. Yeah, it's gonna be like when we're in our 40s, 50s, and they're gonna be like 80. Like, oh, the NDA's finally expired. That's why, at least with Sean and Brett both being in WWE, it's like okay, we can get there, but. Who knows? But yeah, we'll talk about Jack Perry, Real Glass user, a little bit later. We talked about the mixed tag, and then we have Gunther and Randy Orton, which I thought was these two got good chemistry. As I joked in the Discord, my kids watched the entire show, and then 5 minutes in this match, they all left. But that's where it is. Like it is the. To me, this is when Triple H is like, hey, it's that meme of like the kids had their fun and this is for the real adults. Like that's what Gunther and Randy Orton are, where they have great chemistry. Same thing. Like I've seen people meme that, oh, Brian's just like just frothing at the mouth after this match. Like that's where like they have that type of work rate. We're just going to be hard. We're going to be slow. We're going to go. I thought actually Gunther was going to go after his back a bit more, and that didn't really happen. They mentioned
but
it a
that
few times.
chop, though. Woo, that
so
chop.
good. I love it too. It sounds the weirdest thing, but I love it when Gunther waits till the end of the match when they're all sweaty and he chops it, and there's just like water everywhere.
There was so much water. Like even at the start, like he was chopping it. They must have just like doused themselves before they got out there. Because I swear on the first chop, it was already like. And you look at the mat. The mat is like the mat at the end of it was like it was getting like black and gray because of how drenched it was.
It was like Olympic wrestling. I don't know why. I don't know if it was the heat. I don't know if this is it might be the longest match.
It was really hot in there. I heard from like the report, like all the reporters, like Denise Salcedo, she was saying like it was like crazy hot.
Okay, because Orton was sweating like a motherfucker. Like it was 10 minutes in.
At the end, he had like there was so much sweat. My parents were watching with me. They thought it was like scar lines, but it was just like no, it's just like it's sweat just like pouring down him.
Yeah,
and that's why for a while I was worried. I'm like, man, is Randy like this gas? Like 10 minutes in, like
apparently because it looked like also the lights were like. it had a very like
It was
orange
bright.
yellow color
Yes.
scheme, so I feel like that might have made it even more
Yeah.
hot in there. But
Which
yeah,
kind of fit for this match, though. This slow,
I
like
like
them.
the colors. They did those same
Yeah.
colors at a King and Queen of the Ring because the whole
Yes.
arena was like orange. I like that aesthetic for it. It looks nice.
And it just fit with them like grappling on. I love the end sequence of he got some sleeper, he stands up, Randy's gonna try and do an RKO, leads the chop back to the sleep. Like I thought it was really good. I don't think we see it again for a long time, if ever, because Gunther's 2-0 now. Like sure the first loss was questionable, but and they had Randy do the whole like passing the torch and shake his hand, and I think Randy will get a 15 at some point. I think Triple H and he revealed he signed for 5 years. So Randy's the perfect guy that if someone goes down with injury, who do we got? Oh, Orton's around. Boom, he wins it. Like he is a go-to franchise guy.
You have time. You could have him win it like you could have him win it next November at Survivor Series for the Cena match in December before
Absolutely.
he retires.
There's
like,
so many. I would even still be fine. Like people might be mad at me for this. I would be fine if he was the guy that beat Cody and he like cheated. Like they did the KO match, but he cheated and he actually let out. And then you could
he hits the punt while the referee is alert.
exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
Cody's tired, needs a little time off. And then imagine that story when Cody comes back from the punt looking for his that's some cinema right there. And even Cody last night, they asked him about the Orton thing.
It was gonna be cinema.
Yeah, he says it's gonna be cinema,
Yeah.
but he also he spoke. He did make it sound like it's not immediate. Like it sounds like he knows what's happening for now until Mania, and he was like, "Yeah, that's a great story, but like, I don't think it's happening anytime soon." He tried to talk in kayfabe,
Yeah.
but you could tell like, okay, and that's fine. That's the same
I
thing. You
saw
can
someone
pull that at
talking
any
about,
point.
Like Triple H and Shawn Michaels booking. They said like Triple H, if you asked him, he probably knows the main events of next SummerSlam, and Shawn Michaels doesn't know what's going on the next week on NXT.
No, he's like, who? You put those two together, great match, do it, let's go. You know, so yeah, but this was a good match. They got good chemistry, good win for Gunther. It's kind of everything we said. He'd be in the main event, strong win there, and I actually really liked how for the middle portion of the match, Randy just destroyed Gunther. He put him through the table. He had all. To me, the reason I liked it because it was the first time we've seen Gunther ever dominated in WWE, and to me, Randy should be. He's on that level to do it. It makes sense for him to be a guy and get close. It was funny when he puts him through the table, and I think it's Cole or Wade. Someone's like, "Get him in the ring. You can win. Get a ring." And then Randy does his pose.
I was about to type in the Discord. I was like, I don't think this referee cares about how long they're outside.
Oh
the
no,
ring here,
it
Michael.
was an AEW rules match. It literally they did the thing
They
which
did
I
the same thing where Cole's like, I think this referee's using referee
yeah,
discretion.
he doesn't want to cheat the fans because he did the fan poke, and even Wade was like, "Shouldn't that be a disqualification?" And Cole's like, "Oh, he's just using his discretion," and I'm fine with it. I agree with it too. Like even a finger, like I feel like it's
Everyone
gone back
does
and forth when a
poke
finger.
these days,
Yeah, and I feel like that's
It's
been
like-
gone
it's
back
like
and
how,
forth
like,
when it's illegal
like the
or
closed
not.
hand fist used to be like illegal.
Oh,
in, like,
yeah, now.
WCW.
Yeah, no, now. But even then, the finger poke, it's like, I feel like there's been eras where it is illegal and not. So I was fine with the AEW rules match with a Z. And good time here with Randy and Gunther. So,
Yeah, no, it was a good match. It was a work rate match. It was them having a chance to really show themselves as pure wrestlers. Like a lot of the boys in the back and a lot of people in the industry say that Randy Orton is one of the best pure wrestlers in his style of wrestling. So you got a chance to have him and Gunther just go one-on-one in a great match. Wrestling wise, it was probably my match of the night. Like the Rhea and Liv had the moments that just kind of made me laugh as a fan of the sports entertainment aspect of it. But as a pure wrestling, okay, you guys are putting on a show and you're going all out, not only for the
not yet.
viewers,
That's in
but for this
September.
crowd. And yeah.
Well, yeah, no, you can definitely tell, like, all these legends and stuff, like, love Gunther, because he just does that
Yes.
style. Like, I forget, one of the reports, I think it might have been Fightful, it said, like, SummerSlam had that, like, legend suite that they showed, like, at the start, and it said, like, everyone was out there for the Gunther match, because they all just love Gunther, because he just works this, just, like, I guess because it's not really like it's not necessarily like an old school style because he definitely has like his own take on things.
Absolutely, it's more
Yeah,
modified. Like to me,
I think something that didn't happen in this match, but I think my favorite part of their King of the Ring match that he had with Randy was the moment because that one was like Randy had the bad leg. I think was the story, and so he goes for he hits the RKO on Gunther, and Gunther can't like knows he's not gonna be able to kick out of it. But Randy's pinning him like in a weird way because of the leg,
right?
and then he
Yes.
chops his leg so hard that that Randy lets go. So it's like he didn't actually kick out of the RKO, but he hit him in the leg so hard that he had to let go. There's stuff like that where it's just like creative ways to. I mean, he has like 300 finishers. It's just like any situation he can win from.
Yeah, and I think that they've done that, but then they also showed last night that he's not because they book him that way, but he's not like Brock Lesnar where it's like he can
Yeah.
get. That's what I like. Like if he wins, he is a strong big
If he
guy.
loses, it's for like when he lost against Sammy. It was just because he was like underestimating Sammy so much. Like he was just like
Yes.
taunting his wife at ringside, and he just like wasn't paying attention.
But that's why I like that he's not. He's built in a Brock Lesnar way where he's very dominant, but he's not in that way where it's like, oh, it's going to take a Mack truck to destroy him. But they made it more clever because it's like, okay, Brock Lesnar wins just because he's a beast. He's just
Yeah.
power through, right? But it's like
Yeah, there's
Gunther
been times
is
where he's
smart.
like barely lost. I mean, he had
Yes.
that match against like Jey Uso on Raw where he only won because Jimmy distracted
Right,
and
yeah.
he rolled up Jay and he ran away. But
Who's next for Gunther? I feel like he might not even be on the Bad Blood card. I feel like he might get some time off or something. That's why I thought you might get a Raw main event with him because they might do that and then lead that into the Punk and Drew thing because I don't know what
I think maybe like Bronson Reed.
really,
I think he
really.
could get it. I think that like field now would be like Bronson Reed.
Does it
I
make
would say
Gunther a babyface though in that situation? Going against Mr. Tsunami?
I mean,
I think you could do a
if
heel versus
Bronson
heel
Reed
with
is just
those
like,
two.
I'm
They're
gonna destroy everybody and I'm gonna destroy Gunther. Like,
Because he's in the
I mean,
IC
'cause
thing right now,
I think
right?
that field is like Sheamus is like in there, but he's not going for the title. I forget if the match was Sheamus. I swear he had one like he can't challenge for him again, or maybe that's for like the IC title.
Yeah, I think.
it was.
Well, I remember him just tweeting after. He's like, "That'll be the last one for me," because he can't beat him. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
I get that feeling. Maybe like a Pete Dunne, put him in there.
really, you're trying to turn Gunther babyface. You know, you're trying to get in there. I think they might. I said this for Bash, but they didn't do it. I think they might hot shot Dragunov into something because they've been running that on dark matches a lot. And I know they've
I feel
had
like
many
if they're
matches,
gonna do
but
it, they should have done it for Berlin. I feel like.
no,
Yeah, but
they
maybe
gotta
they
let
just
that
want a match
chest
like
heal for a
everyone
minute.
wanted for it, yeah.
yeah, maybe they just want Gunther to be like a babyface there, right, and not make them kind of like decide. Because I could see Bad Blood, he takes it off, and then him and Dragunov wrestle at Survivor Series, where the main story is the bloodline, but they have again the work rate match in the middle of the card, where everyone's like, "Well, this is actually the match of the night." Like, screw the bloodline cinema. Because the only reason I'm not for Reed is because I feel like if Reed's gonna lose, they're gonna save it for Rollins coming back. I feel like Rollins, that's gonna be his big comeback. He'll get the win. I would like it for them to, David. You'd probably remember this, where when Brian Danielson, I still do it, when he was injured and he came back, they made a big deal of it. But then he like lost his first match to Daniel Garcia because the storyline was he came back too early. I would like them to do the same thing with Seth, that he comes back and Reed still beats him, and Seth's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have actually came back. But I feel like Seth he probably needs a win here soon. He's lost to Drew. He lost to Damian. Like, I know it was Money in the Bank situation, but still, like, I feel like he's going to need, like, a win here soon. But, and that's what, I don't think Punk.
I could see them doing the whole Gunther says there's no one else to challenge me type deal. Seth comes back, loses because, yes, he came back too early, trying to be the savior. That's not it. And then going from there. As far as Ilya, that would be good. I think they need to save Ilya for a better stage than Bad Blood or something like that. Something where
The
they can
Survivor
really
Series?
put on a show.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the PLEs between what's between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble.
Because that
Nothing.
nothing really. Okay,
I don't
so
say
Netflix
it
Raw
used to be.
debut.
it used to be the TLC, but I think they've taken
Yeah.
it off because I think those
You
December
have the
pay-per-views.
Netflix Raw debut.
Right, which
So that
Gunther
could be
could
like their
wrestle
Raw
there.
day one.
Okay,
They
Yeah.
did that this year.
let them have something like that where it's big, but it's not one of the big 4 or 5 pay-per-views. I think would be good for
Okay.
him
That could
versus
be like
Ilya.
your Netflix work rate match there. Like
Yeah.
It could be, yeah.
you have a cinema one and a work rate one.
Because I don't think the general audience knows just how good those two are together consistently.
No,
That you
no.
build a pay per view around it, but if you put them on that debut show or if you put them on a big event together, I think that they would again show magic, and then eventually you can have them go against each other again on one of the big 4 pay per views.
Well, I think the cinema one potentially either it's a segment or a match because Cena says he is going to be on that show, right? So I feel like, and I personally feel like they should have Cena wrestle on that show, not just promo. I think for the first Raw of Netflix, you get people in and you do. And I agree with people. It could be a hot shot. I don't care. I think you do Cena Punk. I think you just literally say, hey, it's a you have Punk just come up after he beats Drew. Someone else can already be contender for the title, and Punk can sell that. Just like go out there and say you want to fight Cena one last time. Done. And maybe it's Randy too, but I think Randy wants that Mania. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I think Cena and Punk, Netflix, that's the way to go. And I think Punk can lose because I still think Punk might win the men's Rumble this go around. I think he's been a good boy. He's wrestled now. He hasn't injured. I think it's been 3 weeks in a row. His segment's the highest segment on Raw or something like that. Like he still's a draw. So it's like whoever he wrestles, Seth or whatever. So the other one I was going to shout out to that I think they will do a Gunther Priest 2 as well in between now and Mania. I could see it after Gunther or after he's done with Balor. I could see them running that back, even if that's for a Raw Netflix or a Survivor Series.
With Damien shaking Gunther's hand
Yes.
at the end there.
Yeah, they make it very close, but Gunther just gets the win, and Damien's like, and then that honestly
that's
could
another
be
one where Finn put his foot on the rope. So.
exactly right, and that could be another one too where it's fine that Damien loses because then the next pay per view is Rumble, right, and he's going to be in the Rumble. I don't know what he's going to be doing for WrestleMania. I could see him being in the IC title picture. Hopefully, he doesn't just get thrown in some tag team or like that's always my worry when they do these. But they should, if they're going to make him babyface and keep him hot, then make him. Even him and Reed could be or him and not Reed, I guess, but him and Breaker could be something. But okay, so we got some options there for Gunther. Anything? Well, I wanted to talk about this because we didn't get him on pay-per-view. We got him on Raw, and then I guess he's on the promotion, but that doesn't matter. So Uncle Howdy. So David, I want to start with you because you thought that you won Squash City for Mr. Gable there. You thought the match was too long on the main event on Raw, eh?
I thought it was too long for a debut. I think now, granted, Gable is a strong competitive wrestler, so. But even with that, I think that you could use some of the tips, some of the tricks, some of the mystique of the character, and the rest of the Wyatt Six that they could have made it into more of a squash. I just think it went too long for what has been built up with it. Now, their second match, if they wanted to run it back, then yes, you can have it then. But that first one needed to be I instilled fear in you. I instilled the mysticism in you, and go from there. I did like Uncle Howdy's presentation. I like that they mentioned that the gloving gauntlet that he was wearing was out of clothes from Bray. I like how he did the whole waltzing thing with Chad Gable and just some of the callbacks to Bray. That was good. Those references, I think, gave honor to the Fiend, but also established that Uncle Howdy is not somebody to be messed with. So, he is strong in his own right. We are still honoring this legacy. We're not directly copying. We are paying homage in some points, but he is also his own person.
Yeah. What about you, S. Bubs? Uncle Howdy now, single star, He
like
fighting Gunther soon. Maybe Gunther, him, Bad Blood. Don't
I
do
don't
it.
know, but
Don't do it.
Keep
No.
him, keep him away from the title.
Keep him away from Gunther too.
I did like the match. I didn't feel it was too long, especially if you're trying to establish him as like strong, but not like supernatural, where he'll just like escape everything and just like kick out at one.
Yeah.
And it was a good match, like you're having with Chad Gable in there, so it's gonna work out. But yeah, I thought it worked. I think like the rest of the Wyatt's debut was like better, like the tag team match.
Mm.
But not that this one was bad. I just enjoyed that one more. And yeah, I don't know if this is like the end of their feud with Gable and them.
No, they still got to do a 6-person tag, right? And then I still feel like they got to do Ivy Nile and Nikki Cross at least once too, probably, right? So
Yeah, I think on Raw this week they're having like I think a mixed tag of like Brutus and Julius and Ivy against Maxine and
Right.
Otis and Tozawa. So I feel you could have them show up there like the Wyatts, and then I guess maybe next week you have like the 6-man.
yeah, you could do that. They got to get the poor just Otis and all of them. They're just there to take the losses. So then when American Made takes the losses with the Wyatts, so it's this funny like whole thing. And I do agree with people. It's funny that they still never really paid off Otis and Chad, even if Chad just getting the win, right? Like in a 1-on-1, maybe they'll still do that. But yeah, I don't know what they do at Bad Blood. If they do 6 matches, maybe they could do something there. It is the Halloween pay-per-view, right? And they always used to put Bray, like they always used to give Bray and the Fiend lots of promotion during Halloween month. So I still think you could do like something big on the Raw closer to, but I think they maybe got a couple more things. I did like the match because I do see Dave's point of like you want to, because even when the Fiend debuted, he pretty much squashed Finn, but I think there's just like a worry because sometimes the Bray matches could be bad, not because Bray was a bad wrestler, just because they would make them in this weird, just very story heavy
Yeah, no,
focus.
I was watching a video just one of these days that was going over like every single match that the Fiend had, and they were just like, it's like if you took out all the story, like if you're just looking at the matches,
Yep.
like without looking at any of the segments or the Firefly Funhouse or the story, they were just not good matches.
only
'Cause
one-
they would just be like, they would just hit his finisher on him. He
Yeah.
would kick out at one for like 5 times in a row, and then he'd hit like Sister Abigail and then win.
Funny enough, the only one that was good was the Bryan and Bray strap
that's
match.
the one that
yeah.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was not a traditional strap match. That was just a pin strap match, and that's because it's Bryan. But even then, it's a catch-22 because I love the Firefly Funhouse match that him and Cena did, but I did think him and Cena with a crowd, that was going to be actually something really special too, because they had a really great. I was there live for the 30 match, and they had good chemistry together. But yeah, the Fiend was awful as like a wrestling character. He was good as so he was for wrestling matches, wrestling character great, but matches not so much. So I think that's one thing at least they're trying to show here of, hey, Uncle Howdy's going to be a character, but he can still wrestle.
I kind of want him to wrestle as like Bo Dallas a few times. I
Oh,
think that could be interesting. I think
Yeah.
maybe because he did show up that one time as Bo Dallas, and they just
He did.
beat him up.
yeah,
So I
and,
wonder
and,
where
and he was
they're
talking to
going with
Pierce and
that,
everything.
Like, yeah, I wonder where they're going with that. Like, because not really like they haven't really fully said if it's like the split personality thing, or if he's just like making these videos as like the two people just to like scare Chad
Yeah.
Gable, because it might not really, it might just be like, oh, I'm gonna make it talking to myself because it's gonna be really really scary. Chad Gable's gonna be scared.
Mhm.
But yeah, I wonder where they're really going with this so far.
They could, because Bray even wrestled him. He wrestled the Miz as Bray Wyatt as like the Mr. Rogers,
saw
Bray,
that
and
one,
this,
yeah.
another banger of the Fiend run. And that's where also I forgot because I had said this to Emily, David. That's where Judgment Day is going to go after everyone's done Bad Blood. I think they're going to do New Judgment Day with.
I think I
yeah.
said that last time because they have this
Yeah.
pretty much same amount of members.
And it's the whole you're not being kind to your family and everything like that. And hopefully Bo and Liv are all good to work together, like ex-fiancés or whatnot. But I'm sure it's
Yeah.
all water under the bridge, hopefully. If not, maybe they play with that a little bit. Maybe there's some fun they could do there with
And
the
then
whole...
you have
you know.
Rhea and Nikki connection there.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, yeah.
Liv could do the whole "I know how to break you. I know how
Yeah.
I'm the one who can defeat you type.
I know
deal,
where you
so-
keep those costumes in your house. You could though. You could be like, I know exactly where he lives, and you could get like a
Yeah.
old school final deletion match with Judgment Day and that. So, and even with Finn, right? He's the guy that the Fiend debuted on, right? So you can pull that back. So there you go. Judgment Day will do that for the fall there. So they got something. Some other stuff in the WWE realm as far as free agency. This is up there, but does anyone? We talked about this in the Discord. Does anyone think KO's going anywhere? Supposedly his
No.
contract's up in
I don't think
October.
so.
No.
I
I
think
agree.
like
He's
especially
sticking
with
around.
his last contract, it was like during like prime AEW, and he stayed with
Yeah.
WWE.
Unless we've heard about this, unless that swerve number is just absolutely ridiculous, because Sean Ross Sapp did say that the word is they're planning on making him a big offer. I think WWE won't let it get to that point, especially after the swerve thing. I think they'll lock him down. Well, I guess we are. We're getting close. October again. Yeah, you guys are right. We're already in September. It's a month away, but I think there's only a chance if they do throw some sort of absorbent amount of money, because he does have like a lot of his best friends are there, and it's not like Sammy's going to be there forever. I feel like Sammy's near the end of his career, so it's not like before where it's like, hey, we got tons of time together. It could be, well, you know, you might be doing this for a few more years. Even KO said I'm only doing this for 5 to 6, so I could see. I'm not saying it's a never, right? Because I was there when Cody left, and everyone thought that was never going to happen. So if there's a chance of, hey, I'm wrestling for 5 more years, they're going to pay me what? Sure, I'm gonna go over there. But as I said in the Discord, I feel like if they let you wrestle Stone Cold in the main event of WrestleMania, you become a lifer for that company, in my opinion. Like I
Yeah.
would, like Stone Cold's last, you know, maybe he'll do it again, but still, it's a comeback match and it's against you, and you're in the main event. And then the next year they let you main event WrestleMania with your best friend. It's like they've been pretty good to him. My other point is too for him going is I don't think he's ever going to be like a top guy again, because they said that like 2017, and sure, he might get an IC title run and a US title run, but I am kind of bummed for him that I don't think he's ever going to win the world or WWE championship. Because he was stuck in that Vince era where Vince just like was booking a lot of shit, and Vince didn't like a lot of the stuff he did. I think KO could have had a few more runs in there. Like fucking Jinder's winning the title, but KO can't win the title, you know? Like,
Yeah.
So I think there's always a chance. It's not a no, but I think he will stay. But I would like him to go because same thing. I don't know, like, what is it? Okay, he could turn heel and fight Cody, and maybe there's some bloodline stuff. But KO is at that point where he has done almost everything there is to do there. You know, like, I don't know. So in AEW, there would be lots of fresh stuff like Adam Cole, the Bucks, everything to kind of bring that up. I don't know. I'm hoping it happens, but I don't think so.
No, if he waits long enough in WWE, you know, he might get Adam Cole again there.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially, yeah, we never know. Is there any more WWE related? Because I have some more free agency stuff, but it's more AW stuff, and I also want to talk about that tweet you guys just shared of Starks. But is there anything WWE related free agency, or just in general that we haven't touched on? Obviously, No Mercies tonight. We'll talk about that next time we're live. Obviously, so S-Bob's last year is you're Mr. NXT. Are we getting all? Is it going to be, you know, all in, all out, whatever it was, Double or Nothing years ago, where it's the Brian Cole debut? Are we getting multiples? Are we getting one? Because I think for a while you've said one here and then one on CW, but
yeah, I think it's one.
the internet doesn't think so. They've concocted themselves, but if it's one, it's probably looks like it's Julia, right? Because the word is she's left Japan now, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be, and then you have the CW stuff. So far, like the Motor City Machine Gun stuff just kind of like died down. No one's really heard.
Yeah, that
anything
fizzled out
either
quickly.
way.
It's like they went missing in real life. It both ways, because
Well,
it was
they
like
had their last indie match.
Well,
And it was against each other. Yeah, it was against each other, and then they.
was
just,
it? That's
like,
fun.
Yeah, they just kind of like disappeared. The tag title match is opening NXT No Mercy, but
Okay.
I haven't heard or seen really anything about where they're going. I don't think they're going to AEW really, especially since like it seemed like they were like in talks and then
Yes.
like nothing ever happened for it.
But now
But-
it's almost like the same time with WWE. So it's like it was like, oh, they're for sure going, and now it's like it's quiet. So maybe watch them just go to like, I don't know, Japan again, NWA, TNA, like they'll just go
They're gonna
somewhere
pop up in
already.
GCW.
Yeah, you pop up in GCW, JBL, there'll be some faction, but yeah. Is there any other big hot things to look out for? What's your most anticipated match for tonight at No Mercy?
For tonight,
Mm-hmm.
probably like the tag title match, just
Yeah.
because like Nathan Frazier and Axiom are just like one of the best tag teams right now. They always have great matches, and I'm excited for the Wesley Zachary Wentz one. I think that could
Yeah.
be a really good one.
That could be good, yeah.
Especially now that Zachary Wentz is a champion in his own right.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
on my algorithm, the TNA fans hate it because they're all mad that Speedball lost the title already. That's all I see is like, fuck this, fuck WWE. They had Ali lose his run and everything like that. This match he's having with White, so it's not for the title, right? It's just like a
No.
grudge match. Okay. So he
Yeah,
can
yeah.
lose that. Okay.
I mean,
I don't know if he's like the story. I feel like there's a chance he could win it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a chance. Yeah.
I'm watching just for Joe Hendry, and the match that I actually care the most about is the Roxanne Perez versus Jada Parker match because I have a feeling something is going to come out of that match. So that's what I'm most excited for with that. Other
Roxanne,
than that, like,
all of her title defenses have been like pretty great so far. Like at the start, people were like not liking the run just because like. Cause it's funny because at first people were like, oh, she's not a believable heel.
I
And
saw
then
that
after
a
a
lot,
month,
yeah.
it was like she's a locker room bully. She's bullying all these other people in NXT. But just because of the character, like in one, it was actually the NXT that she hit like a back fist on Lola Vice, and on TV it looked really brutal. It's like she really hit her there. She secretly hates Lola Vice. But where I was sitting, like from the side, she like barely touched her. She was like in front of her, and Lola just sold it like she hit her really hard. But in the camera angle, like from the front, looked like she just like back fisted her like in the neck, but it wasn't.
Yeah, with Roxanne, it's odd because even I saw like this week, like Bully Ray was being like, "Oh, she's not main roster ready," all this stuff. Like, I don't know why there's this contingent of people that feel this way about Roxanne. Again, I've not seen as much NXT as I would like to. I'm a casual viewer, and like tonight with No Mercy, I'll watch later on because I got a family event, but I'll try to catch it after. But everything I've seen of her, character wise, work wise, aura wise, like. To me, she has it to be one of the top women in WWE when she moves over to the main roster. So I've never understood, and like she's fucking, what is she, like 22, 23? Like
yeah, she's 22.
I would understand if it was somewhere in their mid 30s where it's like, well, there's not much time, but it's like she's doing
Yeah,
this
like,
work rate.
She's not Sean Spears in NXT.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? And like even when we get there, like I know that's a meme, but like same thing with Jack Perry. It's like the dude is fucking only 25, like, and he's pretty good for only being 25. He has, so not that she has the same amount of haters, but I feel like sometimes it's just that way when there's maybe young people there and they get that like, well, they shouldn't be there. They're not quite ready for it. It's like they can still be fucking prodigies.
It's like they loop around to sort of like the like in trying to say something there, they loop around to like the Vince complaints like she's too small, she can't be beating these people.
There's so many people that don't admit it, but they're like Vince programmed in a certain way where it's like, oh, I don't, and I get it because that's the way we've watched wrestling for like 40 years, like through Vince's eyes. But it's like, no, like
NXT gets a lot of that, like they're too injury prone, they're too small.
Yeah, and it's just like if they're talented, it's not really gonna matter, and if they don't get over, then they don't get over, and I don't know. It's interesting the internets and whatnot. But speaking of that, and we're gonna get there. But speaking of free agents, at one point we thought, hey, Ricky Starks, we're getting at No Mercy because some guy in a gym said his contract's up. But Tony Khan did say the presser, no, his contract's not up. He refuses to answer where he is. Even Sean Ross Sapp and other people that are reporters have said they've said this is one of the weird situations. I'll fully admit that's true because this is odd. And so
He's
Ricky
like
Starks,
the most secretive guy in the wrestling industry.
And even same through TK, it's just like I will admit there's a lot of weird stuff with him, with Rusev, not so much Malachi Black because he's still there, but there is stuff we've heard where it's like, okay, Starks today said, I've never turned anything down. So if that's the point, then I'm like, if that is true, okay, then what is TK? I see both sides of, yeah, why don't you just release them? You're doing nothing with them, but at the same time you're just giving your company, your competition a star. But it's just like, I don't get why you just don't even use them. Like, just have them be putting over a bunch of people. Then have them fucking lose to a bunch of people. And like, I've never understood of that's been the rumor of Rusev too, of like, oh, he'll turn down stuff.
And I mean, even the supposed report of him turning down was for him to
get a win.
He's
gonna beat Big Bill.
Big Bill, and he didn't want to do it. He wanted to put him over. Was
Yeah.
the supposed report, which now it's like, where did that come from then?
Yeah.
He
Which
supposedly didn't turn that down.
And then it's a web week because then there's rumors like, well, he just really didn't want to work with Jericho. So it's just like, well, it's a whole mess. Maybe we'll hear more about it. I think both of them are going to hurt in this situation. I've always said this before. I don't understand. I've never ran a multi-billion-dollar corporation or million, but if you're paying someone like Rusev or he's not Rusev anymore. What is he now?
Miro,
thank you. Fuck, he said in the chain match, and I've reprogrammed my brain. But it's like, I don't know how anybody could be getting paid nearly millions of dollars and turn down anything. That sounds like the best gig of life. That doesn't understand me. So I don't understand from both sides. If it's true he's turned down stuff, I feel like just be on TV and just show, hey, like, I'm this good, and you keep yourself over. Because I do think people start to like forget. The GA starts to forget a little bit, but it's a weird situation. Obviously he's out of there. We all know he's out of there. We just don't know when. And I don't know. It's odd. I think he is more WWE coded. He's a guy though that he is like, I think he's in his more near for, like, he's like the Batista thing where he's going to come to WWE like a lot older, because people have been like, oh man, Ricky Starks be a hot young talent. He's like, no man, he's closer to like, what is Sean Spears in him? Like, Sean Spears, he's like what, 40 something, I think, right?
It's the same thing with
he's
like
43.
With like Wardlow, people say he's like, oh, he'd be a young talent there in WWE.
So like, Ricky Stark's 34, not an old guy. I'm not saying that because I'm 31, he's only 3 years older than me, but people brought up this point where it's like, Cody Rhodes is 39. He's only 5 years older. So it's like they I think maybe that's good for Ricky. People think he looks younger than he is, and I think he'll come in there and be very similar to Ethan Page, where I think he'll be booked well. I'm kind of ready for this shit or get off the pot scenario, and I hate ever since the Punk stuff. It sucks. There was an era where Tony Khan would answer everything completely, honestly, and openly, and now everything's so fucking just like cagey and jumps around. Like, I miss, and that's when the AEW pressers were great. I will fully admit, Punk ruined that with the whole empty-headed dumb fuck. Like, that was the end of the cool pressers. But before then, those pressers, you would just get straight answers. No, oh well, I don't like to speak about people's contract status. What does it matter? What is it? Like, I get it, but it's just like, he's not doing anything. Like, if you're not going to keep him, I really don't know. It's weird. Just get him to NXT. We know what's happening. Just figure this out. And then, was there another contract thing for AEW at all? Oh, just the Swerve stuff where Swerve resigned. You guys were on that bandwagon. Not that I wasn't. I was just the same thing as like KO, where I thought, okay, if Swerve's contract's done in about a year and a half, it's the same thing. Other than a few dream matches like MJF and Omega, what's there left to do? He said his goal is to become the first Black World Champion. He did that. He just made it in a great show, Wembley. I'm like, I don't know. Like, to me, the next step is you go to WWE and become more like the superstar sort of type thing, right? And no, he didn't, because he signed a 4-year deal, and apparently the money is huge and good for him, and that's a whole nother reason too. Maybe he would have left, but TK, it's smart to throw those amounts if you want them. If it's justified or not, that's completely up to you guys. But it's good for Swerve to make that money, like that. Maybe that's the thing. It's like, doesn't matter what it was going to be. Same thing, MJF, like, maybe he's still fine not to go to WWE because if he's getting paid an obscene amount of money, and you should, because I don't think AEW is dying anytime soon, but maybe there will be a time where they're not throwing that money around, right? Maybe in a few years that
NXT No Mercy looking to outsell All Out. It's close. It's neck and neck.
Is it really? Like the seats and everything?
Yeah, I think.
Well, they got to give up on Chicago.
Like at 6,700, and All Out's like 6,500 or something.
Yeah,
like
the Punk thing that did hurt them in Chicago a lot. I'm not saying they should never run Chicago, but I'm just saying maybe All Out doesn't have to be there.
Yeah, I mean, from AEW fans, it seems like they never want to go to Chicago again. They're like, no more Chicago for 2 years.
I kind of agree with that. Maybe run a smaller show there, but also it's just a market that they just win went too much on. They have gone to Chicago so much, and if you don't have Punk, stop going there, especially
Yeah.
now without Punk, So.
Tony, no one cares that you're from Illinois, and no one cares that you guys did the original.
They went to that
All In.
college like this week, and it was like 1,000 people or something like that. It was like 2,000 people.
Yeah, like no one truly cares. Like your spiritual home is either going to be in Jacksonville or Chicago.
Yes.
Pick one. You need to have it Jacksonville. Like give up on Chicago. Great, you did the original All In
And
there.
Bailey's Place just has a great look. Like if you're gonna do the home base, just do it in. That's like the iconic AEW venue.
Yes.
Yeah, they
It's
just need
tough.
to give Chicago a rest for a little bit, especially given everything that happened. And Chicago loves CM Punk, so you got to understand, given everything that happened with the Brawl Out at All Out, the fact that Punk's no longer there, the fact that they're seeing Jack Perry on their TV, the fact that everyone's being so mum about it, but it seems like only one person really got any comeuppance with it, and that was Punk. You should probably stay away from Chicago for a while.
Yeah.
You don't have a hood pass here.
No. Well, let's talk. We'll talk about all in a little bit
Oh,
because
and
it happens
also
next week.
Lucha Bros to WWE.
Right. It's a weird situation where it sounds like they thought they were going, but now Ray Phoenix has like injury time. So I feel like, even though
Well,
he's
that's the supposed thing. It's like he doesn't have the injury time yet, but if Tony wanted to keep them, he could put the injury time on.
Tony's gonna do it.
Phoenix.
I'm telling you, Tony's gonna do it.
Yeah,
If the
right
Stark
now,
stuff,
yeah.
If the Stark stuff happening with the whole which again, same thing again. I don't follow him that much, but Twitter had their way with him yesterday. That Raj guy who tweeted out like WWE would never do this contract tampering, and then Swerve being like, "I got the text," and then he deleted his tweet.
There was,
Yeah,
there was
Raj
another one.
Geary posted
Yeah,
that they would never
there was
do it.
another one from Raj Giri, like this guy, he posted like this. Have you seen that video of like, it's like the guy in like the MAGA hat, like on the plane, and he's just trying to show it to
Yeah.
people? Yeah, someone made a deep fake of that, of it being MJF, and Raj Giri
Yes.
replied like thinking it was real. He's like, I can't believe MJF would do this. Then he just deleted he deleted the tweet immediately, but people screenshotted it.
And in that deepfake, MJF was like bald. Like, what was he? Like,
And his shirt, they changed it from like Biden. It said Ricochet and
Yes.
Ricochet.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like in the airport.
Yeah, but Raj Giri quote tweeted it, and he was like, "I
Yeah.
can't believe MJF would do this."
And then he did the classic Twitter thing yesterday when someone's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna stay away from my computer. People are just being assholes." I was like, "They're being assholes because you're an idiot." It's just like maybe don't say anything. So and Swerve doesn't fuck around. So like that's why, because WWE and AEW they're both taking their little shots at each other where they can. AEW can't like outsell WWE in certain things. So it's like, yeah, that's what you're gonna do is keep them there, and that's the whole Ricky Starks thing too, right? So. But they did have a good weekend last week with All In. Espas, what did you think about the show overall? We're just going to talk about the main show. I'll quickly run through. We're not going to like break down everything, but I'll quickly run through some matches one by one. But what did you think of the overall All In last week?
Yeah, I really liked it overall. There are definitely like matches I like. I think they were all like around like the 4-star range for me.
Oh, you're going to
Like,
get that
a
Meltzer
little-
hate.
That's what it did. Like people, like I saw like Meltzer star ratings, and people were saying like these are so bad or these are awful, and they were like pretty much the same as what I rated these.
I saw your
matches, so,
tweet.
like,
That's why I brought it up.
like
Yeah.
a 0.5 higher or lower.
And same with me, honestly. Like it's just like I know people love Don Meltzer. It's like these all kind of track for me. Like I kind of have like similar. Like I don't have any of them at the 5 stars like he did.
I
but
didn't,
like
I didn't have the 5.5 stars, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I enjoyed the show overall. There's definitely like some like underwhelming or like disappointing
Mhm.
matches in there around, but I liked it overall. I thought it was the venue, it just helps a lot, like having that huge crowd and just like the atmosphere of it.
yeah.
And I thought it was a good show. Yeah, I agree with your video package stuff. Like they all It's just like copy
fucking
paste for
suck,
all
man.
of them. It's just
Hire
like
me.
clip from the
Hire me.
promo.
There's a
Yeah.
promotion. If you didn't check out GV Day, the triple threat between myself, Kirkland Taylor, is now on YouTube. I still promote it. It's on there. I make
You
a
have
video
to watch
package.
watch the trailer before
Yeah,
to anyone listening. It's great.
I did that in a day with 4 hours. I did that in a day, and because I was running out of time. But it's like these. That's what I said last night in the Brash of Berlin. They made me care a lot about the women's takedown match. Like, this is a big deal. Like, this feels like this is a big match. When really this is all made up. It's just taking little promos here and there. But all these video packages are literally just show MJF, show Ospreay, show why they're fighting, and then it's the face off of them, and then cut to match. It's like they have this cookie cutter thing. It's like that to me is legitimately.
Yeah,
it's not a
like
gripe.
compare those to like well, I mean, like unfair comparisons, but like the Cody Roman like video package for this year.
But that's what it's not unfair because you know why? I don't think when Swerve and Hangman next weekend they're not going to get that, and they should. That should be a fucking my way. They have a year and a half of a feud. This guy's broken into his home. This guy's drinking the other guy's blood. They've done so much stuff, but what they're going to just show is a few face-offs and then like it's my house. No, I'm going to break it, and then it's like okay, all out. It's just like. And the reason to me those are big is because those subtract. I'm fucking up the word 3 times. The casual viewers that have no idea what's going on, that sells you on the match being way more important than it actually is. And AEW has been shit with it. Me and Dave talked about this thing when the first episode of the Gimmick. There is a few in the past, but I think they're just getting worse and worse. And with All In, I get it. They said like they have that pay-per-view time. Tony's fucking rich enough, pay for an extra half an hour. I don't care. Like, don't make it that you have to rush. Like, okay, Bryan Danielson's won. See you next weekend at Dynamite. Like, no, like,
or start earlier.
Start earlier, whatever it is. Like these, or book less matches too. Like that's the thing. Like there is lots of matches that don't need to be there. So I just hate that those video packages are just they're nothing. They feel like AI generate. They feel like if you were to play WWE Universe mode and they're like, hey, we have this new AI generator now that anytime you have 2 superstars facing off, we're gonna create a hype package for it. It's like, no, man, this is $1 million company. They're on TV. It's like. I don't know. It's just frustrating. But overall, I thought All In was a really good show. I thought it was better than last year. I think for the most part, like I said, I'll have maybe a hot take with the main event. I still liked last year's main event better because I thought that's maybe AEW's best main event with MJF and Cole. Obviously, that happened before the devil and really went downhill. But I thought they did a great job. But no, I hope that Texas has that same amount next year of crowd. Or I think the biggest thing though, other than the packages, they've done a good job making it feel like it is it's their big show of the year. And I think it's a good job to have the Owen Hart now lead into that. Cause I said for every big show, you need a Royal Rumble type, you need a tournament, you need something to win the biggest prize. And I think that works. So I think overall they had some good surprises. I think at the Gauntlet match, they delivered. The Gauntlet match that's an AEW, like, if you think, like, the 5 best things they've done since they've started, it only started this year, but that's up there. That Gauntlet match, they delivered too. Surprises that were ones you could see coming, or ones like a Nigel, where it's, oh, this is just very fun. So overall, I think they did a great job with that show. And there's some lulls here and there, but no, I think they did a good job. What about you, Dave?
Yeah.
All In?
There was 9 matches on the main show, 3 on the pre-show.
Yeah.
I say this every AEW pay-per-view. There are a minimum of 2 of those matches that could have been cut or could have been put on TV somewhere.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker match was abysmal. And it wasn't just abysmal because of what happened in the ring.
What's your star rating?
2.
I gave it a 2, which is the same I gave John Cena Austin Theory at WrestleMania.
I think I'd agree with you guys too.
There was hardly build up. It's what? Hey, I'm back. You're a bitch. Let's fight.
That first promo was great though. When they had their promo off, it was good stuff. You know?
But other than that, there's been no real build. There's no reason for you to buy into this. There's no huge grudge match. There's really nothing other than I've been here from the beginning. They paid you a whole lot of money to be here, type deal. Like, and then the match itself was just not good. Jack Perry versus Darby Allin, it was what it was. It was a great moment to bring Sting back. So
That's all it was for. Just get
it's
Sting
one of
out
those
there.
things of if you're there, you got to see Sting. Hooray! As a
Yeah.
watcher, I got to see Sting. I dressed up as Sting for like 3 different Halloweens as a kid. Like Sting was my guy, so I get that. But that wasn't needed. Again, Jericho
That
versus
was one
Hook
I was
is a
disappointed
TV
in
match.
the Jack Perry Darby, because I do think they could have had like a really great match with those
Yeah.
two guys. I feel like they have a good style with each other, but especially with the time being cut, it was really more like a squash of Darby Allin, because he just
Yeah.
like hit like one suicide dive into the coffin, and then just like Jack Perry just like carried him up the stage, threw him off, put him in the bag, and put him in the coffin. It was over.
Yeah, Hook versus Jericho could have been a pre-show match. I mean, the best part of that match was the pop for Taz. Again, give
It's
him
kind
the
of
belt.
funny that the Hook and Jericho match was 10 minutes and 15 seconds, and then the Jack Perry and Darby match was 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Technically longer, but the Hook Jericho match felt longer. And
I
it's
liked the Hook and Jericho
I know you
match.
did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Mariah
know,
May and Tony
I
Storm
like
was
Hook a lot. I don't know. He's
Hook's
fun.
great. Oh, Hook's great. Yeah.
yeah. Hook's great, but that match it just did not need to be 10 minutes on a pay-per-view. That could have been a TV match. That could have been a pre-show match. Now you did have some great matches. The ladder match was great. Pac getting his pop inside of Wembley. The Mariah May Tony Storm was great. I'm happy for Mariah May. I'm happy to see where they continue to go with this. The Casino Gauntlet was amazing. I mean, it was amazing. Seeing Ricochet, seeing Nigel, seeing the stuff that they did in that match. And even I'm not even mad at Christian winning it all. Like it gives you something to build off of. Will Ospreay. I'm not a fan of gimmick entrances, but Will Ospreay has been doing the Assassin's Creed thing for 10 plus years. Like the entire time I've been watching Will Ospreay, he's been leaning into the Assassin's Creed. So for this one, while yes, it is a gimmick sponsorship style thing, I bought it for that one. A little bit weird with the flippy parkour people, but on that him coming out with the video package and the Assassins thing with Ezio Auditore doing the voiceover and stuff like that, I could buy into that. Their match itself, I loved their match itself. Would I give it this 5 stars that Meltzer gave it? Maybe not. I was more in the 4.25, 4.5. Same thing with Bryan Danielson's match. Like I didn't think it was above 5 stars. I would have probably put it somewhere at 4.5, 4.75. Like it was great. The moment where Swerve bounced off the Psycho knee and then just brushed it off, I was like, that's perfect. Everything else with that was great. You had that moment where you're about to see history. You're either going to see Daniel Bryan's final match, or you're going to see him win a title. Either way, I'm invested in this entire thing. So those were great matches. Young Bucks, FTR, acclaimed, good match. Same thing with that, but again, some of this stuff could have been cut. I did not need 9 matches across this show plus 3 pre-show matches. That's 12 overall. That's a lot of damn wrestling.
Yeah. When you say you don't like gimmick entrances, does that just mean the sponsored one, or is every time John Cena came to WrestleMania, you're like, oh fuck, we're getting some gimmick entrance here?
No, like I like the WrestleMania entrances. I don't like the sponsor stuff. I don't like LA Knight pulling up in the Slim Jim cars and things like that. I don't like we are adding this because we are getting paid to add this, not we are adding this because it goes towards the presentation. Rusev in the Tank, yes please.
Okay, I was wondering.
Triple H as Terminator because there's a Terminator movie that year, not so much.
I was there for that one. Yeah.
There are certain things that I'm like, yes, this works. This works for you. This works for your gimmick. This works for the story. I'm here for it. Seth Rollins coming out in the Game of Thrones style and the torch and everything. Yes, give me all of that. But then there are others where it's just, okay, you're doing this because it's a paid sponsorship. Okay. Someone has to dress like this, or someone has to have the color scheme of this thing. I'm not really there for that. In this case with Will, it worked only because he's been doing the Assassin's Creed thing for the more than 10 years that I've been watching him. He did it on the Independence in the UK. He did it in Japan. He's done it all across different places. When he was part of the Swords of Essex, he would come out with that type of stuff, and he would make homage to that. His move, the Hidden Blade, is an homage to that. Like, so for that one, it worked. But traditionally, I'm just not a fan of the paid sponsorship gimmick entrances.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I don't have much more to add on Mercedes and Britt. Like, you guys covered that. It was tough situation for everyone involved there, and it's been a tough go for Miss Baker as well. It's gonna be interesting what they do with her going forward, but we'll talk about All Out quickly. Mercedes, I think, is going to have a killer match there. But yeah, Brian Swerve, I didn't give it the 5 stars because I bitched about this on the Discord already, but for people that aren't in there, I just didn't like how early they telegraphed Swerve, like, fucking with his family. Because I thought, like, it's fine for him to look at Brie and the kids, but 5 minutes in that match, he pulls Brian in front of them and he's kicking, like, okay, there's no way Brian loses this. As I said, my pitch for me would have been a 5 stars is, you do the match as is, and after Brian kicks out of one finish, then Swerve gets that way, because then it's like, okay, I can't put this guy away. I'm going to start messing with his mind now. And I thought it would have tied better, too, because near the end of the match they do, which is a great spot, when Swerve's doing the yes kicks and Brian stands up. He's like, I love you. He's pointing to his kids. I thought it would have tied better to kind of not right after, but shortly after of, hey, I just beat you in front of your father, and now your father, no, this time he's hulking up and everything. So I just hate it because I think we all thought Brian was going to win at this point, but there still was like well, maybe he won't, but I thought that like showed their cards way too quick. It's nothing to do with Swerve, because Swerve's great at being a piece of shit. He's great being a tweener. He is a great character. He goes back and forth. I was surprised, and that's kind of twice it's happened now, because Swerve. I had another example too of a character in AEW when they're a baby face. Oh, Hangman and even Moxley, they're baby faces when they won it, but when they had to lose to Punk, they swapped and became heel. So it's like a AEW trope I'm noticing of, if they have to lose the title to a face, it's never like a face. It's like one of us has to become an asshole, and that's what Swerve did. But great match. The moment's there, and I think that Brian's going to have some great matches. We'll talk about Perry in a second. But yeah, for me, that was my favorite match, but probably May and Storm was second. I understand. I suppose you're saying it's shorter. And, looking back on it, I was like, okay, you could have, but then I still tried to justify in my head of, they're doing we got to save some stuff, right? And they obviously will do a rematch at some point. But I loved all the character stuff. I loved just how shitty they made Mariah May, in a good way, of like hitting her mom, beating up Luther multiple times. Like, man, this person's a piece of trash. Hated the follow-up of her just in the lingerie, because I get it. Sexy girl is dressed in lingerie, but it's like,
she didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything. And it's just like,
she just walked away.
Some of her gear is
she
more
got
revealing.
Heat for not doing that. Like,
it was a weird
There's nothing
situation.
else to that segment.
No, there's nothing else.
I
would have been fine if she does that, then someone else comes out. Like, it's weird that she's versing Nyla Rose this weekend on Wednesday, right? Have Nyla Rose come out and be like, hey, like, you do whatever. This isn't a champion. I'm going to beat you. Like, have something to happen. So it was just odd. And like I said, because some of her ring gear is like more revealing than the lingerie. So it was an odd thing. And like I said, I also covered the announcers. I can't remember who said, but I think it was like Scout was like, oh, like, of course she wouldn't do this. It's like, of course she wouldn't do what? Like, you expecting this woman to be nude on it was it's a weird heel thing where the heel says, I'm going to get naked. She doesn't do it. And the heels are like, you fucking liar. You didn't get naked. I was like, what are we doing here? And not Mariah's fault. I think they booked her to do that. It was her idea then. Yeah, not great idea. But I thought that was a star-making one. I hope they give her some good stuff. Nyla Rose, not my favorite start, because Nyla Rose is just every new champion. It's like, oh, well, we're going to give you Nyla Rose, who had a long reign, and she's going to lose. Then you won't see Nyla again for another 3 months. It's like, there's no build-up. Like, just make it Eliminator. Is it Eliminator or a championship match? I can't actually remember.
An actual championship match.
No, doesn't. Stupid. But, and MJF and Ospreay, I had MJF winning, but then once Garcia was back, I went, okay, I see what they're doing now. I thought they had a very good match. They got good chemistry. I actually loved MJF just like dropping the gimmick right after he lost. Like, I hate American. Like, it was fine for just this UK thing.
He still loves Long Island.
Yeah, he still loves Long Island. I was fine. I know some people are like, oh, it's discount this, discount that. It's like, I don't know. Like, I think they're getting right into him and Garcia being a more bigger one. And now to transition all up, but what I'll bring up, I liked the ladder match. I wish there was more story of why Pac is just with the BCC, and now we have this Moxley thing where. Like Dynamite was interesting because I don't think they had like a knockout show like I was kind of hoping after All Out or All In, and it's weird to me. It was like a good show, but then like the last two segments lost me where Moxley came out and he did this whole like it's not your company anymore. I thought that was really intriguing, and I'm interested to see where it goes. But then like it kind of lost interest with me of like the big reveals. The second person like. Whatever Maria, what's her name again? It's Maria Shafir, and that was just like. Oh, because for me, it was just, it's just another group. And that's fine, but I thought, and I don't need Shane, and I'll let S-Pups go in a second. I don't need that, but I thought, okay, I thought the whole night they were building intrigue with Mox, and when Shafir came in, I went, like, it's just that. It's going to be a group of badass, like, MMA people. Cool. And, like, we've seen this before.
Josh Barnett and like Bobby Lashley.
The Elite just did the takeover. Like, I don't know. So I was very interested and then not. And my only hope is that they have some sort of fault with Moxie and the BCC because I think it's odd that he wasn't in London. Pac is just kind of in the group now. If they don't talk about, if he doesn't say anything about not being with them, and even then, why is he the whole group of the BCC?
Darby now. Apparently.
He wants Darby apparently, yeah. And the whole group of BCC was kind of to be like we're the shooters, like we're the tough like MMA like wrestler people. We do holds, and his new group is like, well, we're the real shooters of. It's just like it's kind of the same thing. So I was interested. I'm still gonna wait and see because I like the whole maybe takeover thing. We'll see, but I kind of lost me when Shafir debuted. I was like, okay, she beat a bunch of security and. That's what we're doing. I don't know. Maybe
I thought
there's.
That was Becky Lynch.
For a second, I did too. For a second, I did. And I thought, holy shit, the internet is gonna. And that would have been. That's what I was expecting with someone big. And it's like, same thing with the Jack Perry thing coming up. But my only pitch is maybe this is gonna lead to Moxley and Bryan, and I could actually see that being Bryan's last match in AEW. I know there's the rumors of Darby, but I could see a heel Moxley beating Bryan and them running with that. I prefer Mox as a heel. I think he's great at just being a piece of shit guy, and he backs it up. But yeah, Dave, what were your thoughts on this story here of Moxley? You know, he wasn't there for All Out, but All In, but he's back and he's doing this stuff.
I am wondering the same thing as you are of where they are going with this. Now, I will say I don't think that Moxley is going to be the one to take it from Bryan. Mm-hmm. I feel like they have traditionally kind of tried to swap it out where they give some in-house shine to someone who's built through AEW. To a next opponent now that they've taken it off of a WWE guy. I think even though, yes, Swerve did have his time in NXT, he is more known as an AEW guy. Like, they squandered Swerve. He comes over. They build him up something differently. And I don't think that they're going to do a John Moxley reign number. I think it would be technically 5 at this point for him to be the one to take it off of Daniel Bryan. So, and I think Daniel would want to be where he builds up somebody who is an AEW original, somebody who can take it to the next level. Who that is, not quite sure yet. But
rumors Darby, even though he's getting squashed by Jack Perry. But
yeah,
I always thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Darby after MJF for a while, but then things happened.
Yeah,
so.
I do wonder though, like, what are they doing now? So is Moxley no longer part of the BCC? Is him and Marina Shafir something different? Are they going to have their own stable? Is this going to be an offshoot? Like, how are we doing this? And his promo really didn't give us many answers. His promo nor the Marina Shafir show up and attack didn't really give anyone answers. So I'm just kind of confused by the whole thing with John Moxley. He came out to his New Japan music, we can use this so we don't have to pay copyright or anything.
And his theme's really Wild Thing's a babyface theme, right? It gets people going. Like the second you get that, you get in a good mood. So, and maybe he won't take it off him, but I could just see something at All Out where Bryan beats Perry and then Moxley and a few people for some reason beat up Bryan. I don't know why. I just don't. It's just odd. Even with the Darby thing, it's an odd fit right now. So.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. So I do want, like, I felt that they gave Pac the run with the BCC just so that he could have the Wembley pot
Yeah.
that he should have had last year. They should not have left him off the car. Like, he has had so many missed opportunities for whatever reason. Even going back to Dublin or Full Gear, where he was supposed to face Hangman, but that ended up not happening because he didn't want to lose. Because at the time he was Dragon Gate champion and he was undefeated, and to him it didn't make sense for his character. Like, there have been so many times where Pac has been start stop. Okay, you got him his moment, and then him even being in the ring with the BCC after Daniel Bryan's win. It's like, hey, here's his entire faction and Pac. So
It was so odd.
I
I don't even
don't
think he should
know
have
where
been
they're
out
The
there.
going
WrestleMania
with that.
thing where LA Knight was
Yes.
there.
It was just because I lost to Roman Reigns too. But it's like, yeah, Pac shouldn't have been out there. It was an odd moment. But you know,
yeah, so I
There he
don't
is,
know where
he's
they're going
right.
with Moxley. I would like to know, but I have no idea.
he's right on Christian's nose. That's where he is in your
Yeah.
picture there. So. Yeah. All right, S Bubs. I'll let you pitch your terrible. You're on the bandwagon because a lot of people are saying
I
this.
don't think it's happening now because it's
Yeah.
definitely this blood sport faction.
Yeah.
But
Thank
it would
God.
have been cinema.
No. If Shane, if people don't know, the theory was at first was, oh, it's not your company, and people thought, oh, this is where Shane's coming in, and I suppose having a good time thinking it could happen. And if that again, if you want to bring in Shane, I guess fine. But if you were to bring him in as like the guy to save AEW, there's so much wrong with that in this year of like Vince McMahon and everything that's going on with him. Like, oh, we're gonna bring in Shane to save AEW. It's like, oh my god, like it would have been a catastrophe. I'm fine if it would be like he's the guy there to like take over and he's the heel, but we got the Elite kind of doing that. And I really do want to get a timetable. They don't, I guess, on Kenny, but I feel like when Kenny comes back, that's the end of this whole Elite thing. And I feel that they got, I guess you got Perry. I don't know. They're all about taking over the company, but that's kind of like gone away a little bit. I don't feel their presence should have been like a Vince McMahon in the 90s where they're all over the show, and they were doing that for a little bit, but now it's just kind of gone. So it's like, hey, are you like the fucking EVPs that ruin everyone's night, or are you not? I don't know. It's just kind of they're going half and half because I feel like they think, oh, some people don't like it, but just you gotta stick with it still. You guys fucking tombstone Tony Khan, like you made it a storyline. Don't just kind of drop it, but I don't know. And to that point, we have just a few matches, and then we'll end the show here. A few matches for All Out. First, Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry. Now, I'm all for, because I know the internet's very torn on this, I'm all for this match. I think it makes sense as like a 2-week build. Perry pinned him a couple months ago. He's like, even though Okada's like one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, for some reason Jack Perry's become like the the headline guy of the Elite. Whatever, I get it because he's a little shit. I just Oh, and yeah, Brian will win easily. It's fine with me. Like, they'll have a good match because I am the camp too. I thought Jack Perry at one point would have been world champion. Then there's some other things that happened too. But go back a couple years ago when he had that match with Luchasaurus in the steel cage and he was just Jungle Boy. He was fucking over, dude. That guy was getting huge pops. And I was like, this guy's going to beat MJF. He's usurped Darby for me. Like, he's going to beat MJF. But I think it's a good match. Perry can wrestle a lot, despite what people want to say at 25. Like, he is very good in the ring. He's had some AEW bangers. I just hated the way that they had Brian be like, "Okay, I'm not going to retire. When I lose, I'll retire, and I'll take anyone in the back." Two things. One, the kayfabe of, oh, Jack Perry, of course, is a fucking pre-recorded video made for this surprise announcement. Makes no sense. Sure, you can headcanon it. That Brian had to tell the Elite, so they had a heads up and maybe they'll do it, but it's still lame. And I just thought they set it up in a very, here comes a big baby face or here comes a surprise person down. I think if you just do some sort of thing of, they do a contenders match that same night and Jack Perry wins, or the EVPs just announce it, that's fine. But when they set it up as like a surprise, I think that had the internet and watchers ready, even myself, of like to turn on this. Like, because even myself, I like Jack Perry. I'm not on the hate train. I like Punk. Put those things separately. It's a whole year past now, right? I think he's doing his job well. He can deliver in the ring. He can cut like a decent to good promo. For me, I'm like, oh yeah, this match makes sense. But for me, when they set it up this way, it's like, oh, It's just Jack Perry. Of course, it's just fucking Jack Perry in Chicago. Like, I get it. So I think there's nothing more to it. Perry just loses. He'll probably tap out, and the crowd will have a good time with it. But I thought they kind of did it in a lackluster way, and they set themselves up for like a meh ending to the show after All In, which I don't think you want, you know? So,
Yeah.
anyone think Perry's winning this?
Not, not at all. He's just there for the heat. That's it.
And then you got Will Ospreay versus Pac, which I think Will win, but that's just gonna be a damn good match. That's something like match of the night with a bullet there. You know, they haven't wrestled in a long time. Like when they show the photos the last time they wrestled, they both look like babies. So you got that going on. You got Will Nightingale and Chris Statlander finally having their fucking blow off match after that. Like,
But it's not for the title.
no, it's not for the title. So you know Willow's fucking who's the champ right now? The other one, Willow. So Stat could win it, I guess.
It's supposed to be for the title, but then they said, "Oh, CMLL won't sanction a street fight for the title." So
well, yeah, maybe
they'll
if
have
it was
another match then.
yeah, maybe if it was supposed to be, maybe Willow was still gonna win. Maybe they just don't want that. But I'm glad they're finally paying this off. MJF versus Garcia. That's going to be, I think, a really good. That even though you got Pac and Ospreay, I think that has this card actually is pretty good. Has a good sleeper pick. I think MJF and Garcia, who I think in real life are friends, are going to have like some good chemistry here. And then Monet is getting a mulligan. She's going against Sheeta, who Sheeta is just known as like a. She can put on great matches with anybody. She's like the wrestle the broomstick type of person. And then you got Swerve versus Page in a steel cage, which funny enough, they were going to do that right after the Texas Death Match. They were going to like a month after they were going to do that. But I guess both guys said we don't want to do one right away because we felt like let's let it blow off a little bit and wait. And I think they were smart because now they got this. And I don't know if I agree with it, but I want to get that. There was a tweet that I saw where it's like, oh, this is like the Rock and Austin this generation. I have to look at all the feuds, but in this way of like, each time they've had a banger, the story's been good. They both have that top guy energy. They've both flipped and flopped between being heel and face and whatnot. Like, this is, even though Will and Pac might have like the work rate match, this to me is going to be, I think, potentially something special. And I don't think it's the end. And I think Hangman, who I think is my favorite character in wrestling right now, I just love the way they're presenting him and the way he's cutting his promos. I just love what they're doing with Adam. I think that Adam should get the win here. So then Swerve can do another one in the future. But David, is there any matches I shout there that you have anything to add upon?
No, I'm most excited about the Hangman match because I agree with you. Like, character-wise, since the beginning of AEW, it has been amazing watching the ups and downs of Hangman and where his character's gone. And even with the times that he's had to take off for family issues, 2 children, things like that, he has still cut some great promos, done some great character work. I mean, it is... If you would have told me back in 2016, 2017, watching this guy in Ring of Honor, that this is where he would be now, like, I had no way of seeing that. And this has been just great of him. So, no, I think that they are probably going to put on the match of the night. Like, I think Pac and will do great, of course. They are going to put on a nice flippy match. They're going to have some fun stuff. But I think this match right here is going to just be something else, but these guys deliver, and I'm here for it.
What about you, S-Bubs? Anything from All Out you're looking forward to, or any hot takes before we end this?
No, I think it's going to be a good show. Match I'm most excited for, probably the steel cage match. That's going to be good. Yeah, I think it'll be a good show. How many matches are on that card so far?
I think it's
Six.
Six, so expect 20 more to be added in the next week.
Yeah, there's Will and Pac, Willow and Statlanders, Swerve and Hangman, MJF and Garcia, Monet and Sheeta, and Brian and Jack Perry. So yeah, 6.
I feel like they'll build some sort of like 6-man tag or something to like get Ricochet on there. Yeah,
because I guess Reddy's feuding with Pac, right? Or wait, he had his match against
Kyle
Fletcher. Yeah, so there could be some sort of combo there. You're right. They love to do those kind of like, let's throw a bunch of people together.
Just to, like,
everything.
put him on the show.
Yeah, or if they do like they could. They've kind of abandoned it because they got the gauntlet, but they used to do like the casino battle royale or like the ladder matches. I could see them be like, "Hey, you flip, like you want to be in a ladder match," and then be like,
Oh, give me some Ricochet and Okada, please.
Yeah, you could do that too, where it's the elite versus like Ricochet,
I forgot
somebody and
Okada
somebody.
has that title.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
have a match
they
with
could just
Ricochet.
do something as easy as call back to the, hey, you're from Japan, I used to wrestle in Japan, well, you've never beat me type deal. Like,
Yeah, and
you
it'd be
know.
good. I just, yeah, I'm with like kind of S Bubs there. I forget Okada has that, and I know he just defended a few weeks ago, and him and Claudio had like a really good match. Right, I forgot though. They'll probably run that back. Him and Claudio went to a draw.
Time limit draw.
Yeah, so they might do that in Chicago instead, which will be great for like the crowd there. And I did really like the match because that was like a similar Gunther Randy one where
'Cause
they
I think
were
also
going
that
fast,
title
but
has like a shorter time limit.
30 minutes
or
only.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Or 20 minutes instead of 30. I
oh,
think
is it
the
20?
thing,
Okay,
yeah.
which is
Because I think
odd.
it's like the Continental Classic rules, because that's the Continental
Right.
belt.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Continental Championship, God, it's an ugly belt in my opinion.
I honestly, like, in my mind, I have no idea what it looks like.
I was just gonna say the same thing as Bubs. I feel so bad. Like I think yeah, I guess I watch AEW and WWE the same amount nowadays, but like I feel like I'm just so more ingrained in AEW because I've been watching the past few years, but I don't even know what that title looks like. I'm trying to picture right now, and I don't even know. I think it's like
at All In the Gauntlet, did Okada was he even wearing it when he came
he
out?
did.
I don't-
He did wear.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't remember.
It just like has the AEW logo up top. It says Continental Championship, and then in the middle
yeah.
it has this ugly crown looking thing
I
that
see
looks like something that you would
Oh,
see
I
on
see it.
air freshener.
It actually looks like a discount version of the SmackDown tag titles, actually. Like, it has that same color scheme, and, like, it has, like, the crown there, but, like, the SmackDown ones I like more. So, to me, it's just a general thing of, I had that realization, I can't remember when, during sometime All In, when it was Jack Perry, Okada, and then isn't there another third men's one? There's a Continental, there's the TNT,
the
and there's
international one.
the international, right?
American
Yeah,
one.
and that's when I had the American International. I think it was during that match where it's like, we do not need 3 like IC type of titles, especially these.
And Dustin is both the ROH tag and trios champion.
Yeah, and the belts look identical, and I fucking hate it because I'm like, why is he like? Because I don't watch ROH. I'm like, is he like the tag team champion alone right now? Like, what's going on? But I'm like, oh no, him and Sammy are over there doing that. Like, good for Dustin getting that working and cool being on the show. But it's just like, that is I'm just hoping at some point I don't know if they'll do it with the Continental because they want to do that tournament every year.
Because they had it as like the Triple Crown, like, and that's
Yeah,
why it has
when-
the crown on the title.
Yes.
But then they just split. Like, Eddie just eventually lost all of,
And
then
now
they
it
were
just
all
looks like the
separate
Crown
belts.
Royal Championship.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen because I think they want to do that Continental every year. I don't think they're gonna ever want to get rid of the TNT
It should have
Championship.
just been like a trophy.
It
Like,
should have been,
Continental
yeah.
trophy,
A trophy
or
and a
just,
title
like,
shot.
an actual crown as
Yeah.
like the trophy, and then that's.
Oh,
like-
don't make a crown because then too many. Oh, they're stealing King of the
I
Ring.
mean, this would have been I don't know, yeah, but I don't know, some sort of golden trophy could have worked because like I don't know, yeah.
I still
You
think
could, you
probably,
could defend the trophy like the Heritage Cup or whatever, and just make that instead of winning the Triple Crown, just win the trophy and then defend that.
what they should have done is they should have took the Owen Hart and the Continental and just put them together. They should have made that the tournament. I don't care if it's copying New Japan. Make the G1, make the Continental your G1, the Owen Hart your G1. The winner of that goes to Wembley.
C1 in AEW.
The C1, yeah. The winner of that gets the shot at All In. You're done. That's it. Like I get that Tony loves his tournaments and he wants multiple times, and it's smart to do it during like Final Four and stuff. Like I get it. It's just it didn't need another championship, and I don't think they're getting rid of the TNT or the Continental. So the international have to get rid of, but I don't know if they will right now. It's just there's too
You
much
could have
titles.
a unification like down
I
the
hope.
line.
I really hope because they don't need this many titles. They just don't feel important at all. Like to me, the only one that really matters is like the main ones because like the AEW and the 2 women ones because it's just even though Will has this, it's just like it feels like there's so many
I feel
titles.
like the
It's
TNT one is pretty important.
yeah, but it's just because like now it's like, well, Jack wants the world title now. He's not that even focused on the TNT now. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it's gonna take a back seat. I just too many titles. Like Will, it's just like it's just a prop for him to like be doing something while he's not the world champ, which we just know is gonna happen. Which which we didn't talk about too. That the All In's going to Texas, which everyone thinks that means SummerSlam in a few years is going to Wembley, and then they go back to Wembley. Really don't know, but I guess Forbidden Door is going to be at Wembley, so that's where Ospreay could get the win there.
I don't
Now
think it's
that's
confirmed to be. It just confirmed London, but not
for
Wembley
SummerSlam.
Stadium. For Vendor, it's just London. No
Oh, is it
specific
just that?
arena.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they're doing. I've heard people because there's a Wembley arena, like
Oh,
not the
okay.
stadium. So
Oh, we're
people
doing
think
Wembley
it's
again.
Possibly Wembley Arena. Yeah.
Oh, that
'Cause
is
I don't know
interesting.
for Forbidden Door, you're selling like
Not anymore.
that. Yeah.
No, old Forbidden Door, yeah, the first two. But now when Tony owns all the New Japan talent, you're not, you're not like that. That's. I am curious how Forbidden Door goes this year because this year did or next year because it did feel this year. It's
'Cause
like
this year was like CMLL
letdown.
Forbidden Door.
yeah, there's nothing like. And now that TNA is more working on WWE, it just. I think if they have like another disappointing year, they should maybe.
Because they're also doing that Wrestle Dynasty show. Like,
Yes.
It's like 2 days before Wrestle Kingdom, but this is like AEW's Wrestle Kingdom.
It's just New Japan's not what it was. They don't have the stars, and it's just that was one person. When Brian was doing his challenge, I thought Zack Sabre Jr. might walk out, and that was going to justify, oh, the rubber match, that'd be huge. But my dude ain't losing before the G1. And I know we don't talk New Japan, but I'm very happy for Zack Sabre Jr. I'm a big fan of him. He's a similar guy. We talk about like the Roxanne stuff. Like there was a period where people were like, oh, his wrestling's just so boring. He's never gonna get over, and he's too skinny. And yet, like, I'm happy for him, and I think that It's pretty crazy that only like next to Kenny, he's the only like foreigner that's won the G1. So good for him. And I think New Japan's smart to strap him up because they have no stars. And he did say like, I'm not leaving anywhere. I want to stay in Japan. So I think it's smart. So I get he wouldn't lose to Brian before, but other than Sabre Jr., there's a few people, but New Japan is hurt, and I just don't think Forbidden Door can carry. So yeah, like
He's
you said,
getting
as
his title shot in like some different event, right? It's like some event in like England.
He
I
wants in
think.
October, yeah, which is
Yeah.
odd. It has, I think New Japan has done that before, where the G1 winner has cashed in early. Even WWE, I don't know if, I suppose if you know this, that at one time John Cena, he won the Rumble, and he cashed in at Elimination Chamber instead. He
Well,
gave
that's
some
like,
weird bullshit
where-
reason because he wanted to like go into WrestleMania as the champ. It was,
That's like Daniel Bryan in like when he was gonna have the Roman match.
Yes.
Like a few years ago, I forget how it worked. Like
Roman put his spot on the line.
Roman made
Yeah.
him cash it in, like, and it's
Yeah.
like a squash.
yeah. So it can happen, but yeah, I don't know if that's what's gonna. Yeah, Forbidden Door. But anyways, before we end, my point was I was trying to get to because David had brought this up and I was completely wrong because I said, oh, well, he's just going to win at Wembley next year. But I had forgot that Wembley was not in England. It's going to be in Texas. So I really don't know when Ospreay is winning that title now because I agree with you, David, that 2026, that's way too long. You'll lose that. It'll feel like an afterthought now, like, okay, we should have done this a few years ago. So I don't know where he's going to win it next year. Maybe they will try to hold off, but I was surprised about that. I'm interested to see what WWE is running, but I don't know. And
It
because
seems
right now,
like there's gonna be multiple London shows. Is like
Okay.
what Tony was kind of saying. Like he was like, all
Will wants to do a tour,
There's
remember?
gonna be a AEW presence, and so I feel like maybe they could get like a full gear or something in like London or something like
Okay.
that. I don't know.
yeah,
I
it
feel
has
like
to
they
be
could do
there.
that.
Yeah, it should have been Wembley for Will's win, but if not, then oh well, you got that going on. And then I guess the only thing we didn't touch upon, he got the win. What do we see, Christian? Because I was reminded as we're about to end, as I see as far as background. Do we see Christian getting a successful cash in? When does he do it? What's the situation here?
I don't know. I feel like because you still have this like Luchasaurus kill
Yes.
switch thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe
It-
when
he's
he
gonna cost him
cashes
to cash in.
Yeah, when he cashes in, that's when he.
Oh,
comes, so.
fuck. I, for a split second, I knew in my head, I did like the Moxley at WrestleMania thing. I knew it was going to happen. But when Christian came out for a split second, I thought You Think You Know Me was gonna hit, and Edge was gonna
That's what I
pull
was
some like
thinking,
John
too. I think that was
Cena.
the next person coming out.
Yeah, stem cell. I'm back early and
Yeah.
stuff, but it didn't happen. But David, so you think Lucha's gonna cost them the cash in?
I think Lucha's going to cost him the cash in. I mean, we are going to get some excellent conversation about the fact that Daniel Bryan's dad is dead. But other than that, it's going to be typical back and forth. And then, Christian's going to push Luchasaurus just a little bit too much, say some things in the build up to it, continue to treat him like the stepchild to him and the Wayne's family stuff. And then
I know they lost the titles, but in between our gimmick shows, I love that they had like their title ceremony, and he gave the title to fucking Dane, like his storyline girlfriend instead of Luchasaurus. It's just so good. I love everything they do with that story. Christian is the best at being like a heel, and like it's like all comedic stuff. He gives the Nick Way, he's like, oh, my other person that I just love, and Lucha's like, he's getting all proud of himself, and then like to Dana, and he puts it on her like, oh my god.
People were saying that they saw Christian like out and about during All In Weekend, and people would yell at him like, "Hey Christian, we love you," and he'd be like, "Hey kid, F off, where's your mom?"
He's committed to the bit, even to the point of he wears those
Kayfabe is
sweaters.
real.
Hey, he wears
Keeping
those
it
sweaters
live.
even though he's jacked. So
Travis, I know you said you didn't watch SmackDown, but did you see when Solo gave Tongaloa the title?
no, I
Because people
saw.
are chanting, "You can't wrestle at
Yes.
Tongaloa."
I saw. My algorithm is Tongaloa coded because anytime that man does something, it pops
Did you
up.
see that video where it was top 3 most emotional title wins of 2024?
No, I didn't. No.
Where it was like Cody, Brian, and then the last one was Tonga, but they just edited it over like it was like Eunice or Rich Chance.
Oh, yeah,
like
that's
people
fired up.
screaming, yeah.
And I did they literally just do that because they didn't? Did they give him the title because Jacob was injured? Was that the situation? Because in
I
storyline,
think-
he's the enforcer, right? And he didn't want to. Yeah,
but I think it is because Jacob was injured.
'Cause-
Because he yeah.
it's so odd
But
because, like I
supposedly
said,
Jacob is like, because the initial report after SummerSlam was like, he should be fine by like the end of this month.
That's what I saw,
And he
too,
already
yeah.
has the boot off.
Yes.
Like after like 2 weeks.
so in the
Yeah.
long run, I don't know why they just still didn't have the Loas together and just have God. They win. Like obviously Tonga has he wrestling.
I didn't
but-
subtract points from David because we established with the Rhea Ripley thing. If you relinquish or it gets taken like without losing, that's not losing points. So
Yeah, that makes sense. And none of us had Tonga Loa though to get those championship points. So
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
God damn. So, yeah, well, that is it for now. We will. I'm not sure when because the next pay-per-views are kind of in a weird thing. Where like All Out is already next week, and we won't do a show directly after that because I think going to be a good show, but I think for the most part predictable. Unless something massive happens and breaks, then we'll talk about it. And then we got Bad Blood. So either be before Bad Blood or after. So it's going to be sometime, but it might like kind of like this episode seep into October. But we'll figure it out once we get closer. It's a weird time in between as far as.
Does AEW have any October stuff? Or
I think
no?
they do. I thought they had
Wrestle
something-
Dream.
Right, with
Yeah,
Brian.
when is that?
That's in October, I think, as well, too.
Well,
'Cause we
second
could do,
weekend
like,
in
After
October.
Bad Blood predictions for Wrestle Dream.
Yeah, because let's see. So it's, you said it was October, what, sorry, David?
12th.
12th, and then Bad Blood's the 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking about being in Washington that time, and I was like, oh, well, I may have to extend my stay and then pop on up to Tacoma. So I was trying to figure that out. That's why I know it's the 12th for sure.
Yeah, I suppose you're probably right. Probably a prediction show before them both is probably well, obviously, if our schedules don't work out, maybe it might be like this where we do like a review of Bad Blood and then a predictions for Wrestle Dream. So we'll figure out. But yeah, somewhere in that
Sometime
2 weeks.
like early October, late September, probably
Yeah,
early October.
yeah. Sometimes we'll be in there. I know. I'm happy to go SmackDown because I haven't been in WWE in a while. But I'm bummed because if it is Brian's last match, because I did choose. I'm like, well, I'm going to choose either that or I can't go to Tacoma twice just with my schedule. And it's Brian. But I guess I tell myself that it's not Brian's last match. He even says it's my last full-time wrestler match, right?
Yeah,
So I'm like,
he's been
all
having
right.
more matches. After
Yeah.
this.
but I still was like, oh man, like that's gonna be something special. But yeah, so yeah, that's when we'll be back, late September, early October, somewhere in there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Lots to talk about. When you hear from us next, it'll not be born.